This young man comes from a legendary background. His parents were the youngest marquises in the entire Great Xia Kingdom. Their fame wasn't just local. Even in neighboring empires, everyone knew exactly who they were. Li Luo possessed incredible wit, mastering skills instantly. He was even more gifted than his two genius parents combined. Usually, cultivators start their journey with just one single soul palace. You gain a second at the marquis stage and a third upon reaching the king rank. Even though Li Luo was only at the early 10 seal stage, something was wrong. After opening his soul, he didn't have one palace, he had three. But the tragedy was that all three were completely empty, not a single trace of nature. Born with three empty palaces. Could a future get any bleaker? It was like being cursed from birth. 3 years ago, his parents vanished on the marquee battlefield. Since then, the Luo Yan Mansion has lost its glory. Rumors swirled that the mansion was tearing itself apart from within. Li Luo's title as the young master was hanging by a thread. Then there was Jiang Qingyi, a prodigy with a 9th-rank light soul. She was the star of Great Xia. She skipped the entrance exams and was scouted directly by St. Shuangxing Academy, the top student in a century. Her influence across the kingdom was now massive. Most importantly, she was his fiancée. Yet, their paths couldn't be more different. For 17 years, Li Luo endured the mockery of being empty-natured and the envy of having her. Then, he received a mysterious artifact left behind by his parents. He couldn't pry it open or even guess what was inside. While tinkering, he accidentally cut his finger. One drop of blood hit it. A brilliant blue light flashed as a hologram appeared. It was his parents. His eyes burned. They looked exactly like the day they left him. It had been forever. Hey, Xiao Luo. If you are seeing this, you are probably 17. We probably aren't around to help you anymore, right? His father spoke first, then his mother asked if he had grown handsome or had girls chasing him. Mom, your son is just a good-looking loser. Nobody is chasing me. Li Luo wiped his tears, knowing they couldn't hear him. But they kept talking, as if they knew his every word. You likely feel worthless right now because of those empty soul palaces. He was stunned, they knew. Long before they even appeared, they used a secret ritual to check. They knew about all three palaces. Li Luo was speechless. They had known his secret for years and said nothing. Was their disappearance linked to this? Where were they? Xiao Luo, listen closely. Being empty-natured isn't a curse. It is the most powerful constitution on earth. Be happy. His father's words felt like nothing more than a desperate comfort. But he wasn't lying. Li Luo truly couldn't absorb any natural energy. It was a major problem, but there was a way to fix it. They made it sound easy, but he was skeptical. Nature is something you are born with. You cannot just create it. He had tried everything before and failed every single time. Ordinary methods won't work. His mother spoke as if she was reading his mind. Knowing your condition, we worked tirelessly until we finally found it. An ancient technique called the minor art of eternal nature. The ultimate solution. Having an empty body might be the best thing that ever happened. Natural affinities are way too random, but a cultivated one that is something you can shape and change as you please. Usually, a natural affinity only carries one element, but a trained one holds two distinct attributes, a primary one and a secondary one. Say you pick fire as your main element, you could then add lightning as your sub-affinity. Pairing fire and lightning together like that exponentially boosts the destructive power of your force. Li Luo felt like he was finally saved. He couldn't help but flash a thumbs up, shouting, "That is amazing! Major props to Mom and Dad. Seriously, I'd hit like for them any day." Then Li Taishuan spoke up again. Even though we can create these affinities, nothing in this world is ever truly perfect. The initial grade of this affinity won't ever cross grade 4. Compared to a gifted soul like Jiang Qingye, who wields a grade 9 light affinity, the power gap is truly massive. Of course, don't rush it. While trained affinities start at a lower grade, they can be upgraded if you use the right methods. This world has many treasures that can boost your affinity's rank. Hearing his mother say this, Li Luo immediately thought of the Spirit Liquid's Master's Brew to raise affinity grades, but those usually hit a hard limit after only 1 or 2 levels. Right then, his father's familiar laugh rang out. Haha, Xiao Luo, are you worried that using treasures to upgrade your rank has a strict limit? Honestly, this conversation felt just like they were talking to him in person. It seemed his parents could predict his every thought, but just as Li Taishuan was speaking, Zhang Dailan snapped at him in a fit of rage. Stop getting ahead of yourself. If you say everything, what is left for me to tell Xiao Luo, honey? Okay, my mistake. I will shut up now so you can talk to him. This recording was so realistic, Li Luo felt like he was truly standing before them. It only now occurred to him just how much Jiang Qingye's personality mirrored Zhang Dailan's. If they actually got married someday, he would probably end up living a humble, submissive life, just like his dad. Back to the main point. Zhang Dailan continued talking about using treasures to upgrade affinities. For most people, this process definitely has a limit. 1 or 2 levels is usually the max. But your blank constitution, your natural state, doesn't fall under those normal rules at all. Blank means empty, which also means infinite, a vessel capable of holding anything in existence. That is exactly why they claimed the blank affinity is actually the most powerful one in the world. To prepare his first affinity before leaving, they used a soul fragment and Li Luo's own essence blood to craft it, then stored it inside that crystal sphere. The little blank spirit art is hidden in there too. But merging this affinity with your own body is no simple task. The fusion will drain a massive amount of Li Luo's blood. That is why they sealed it tight and told Jiang Qing'e to wait until he was 17. At 17, his body could finally handle losing that much blood. It doesn't end there. After merging with this artificial affinity, the price Li Luo must pay isn't just his blood, it is his very lifespan. Unless he can reach the Duke stage within 5 years and evolve his life force to the next level. If not, then next year will be when his life officially reaches its end. Xiao Luo, will you choose to stay as you are, living a wealthy, peaceful life? Or will you fuse with this affinity we created, fight against fate, and step onto a dangerous path? If you choose the first option, close this crystal ball. Everything inside will be destroyed forever. If you choose the second, put your hand inside. The decision is yours, and no matter what, we will always support you. The projection paused there. After hearing those words, a heavy weight settled deep in Li Luo's heart. Choose a life of weakness or a short life of struggle? It was an impossible choice. Reaching the Duke stage in 5 years was terrifyingly difficult. In 5 years, he would only be 22. History has never seen a Duke that young in the entire Xia kingdom. Living off the estate his parents left behind, he could easily spend his entire life in comfort and luxury. But if he merged with the affinity they made, he would have to fight fate for every single second just to stay alive. It was a brutal question, but Li Luo didn't take long to find his answer. Before, catching up to Jiang Qing'e felt completely impossible, but now he finally saw a glimmer of real hope. Furthermore, this spark of hope was something his parents risked everything to find. How could he be a coward and let such a massive opportunity just slip away? With that thought, Li Luo stood up, filled with excitement. To be honest, he had always been deeply ambitious. Even if that ambition seemed ridiculous or delusional to everyone else in the world, he wanted to catch up to Jiang Qing'e, surpass her, and even go beyond his own parents. Don't you worry, I will never let you down. So what if it is becoming a duke in 5 years? I, Li Luo, accept this challenge. With that, he reached out and touched the crystal sphere. It instantly erupted in a brilliant light, dissolving into the very thing that would change his destiny. This spirit resonance was risked by Li Taishuan and Zhang Dailan, crafted alongside a minor divine technique. Sensing my parents' sacrifice in their choice, I couldn't help but let out a long, heavy sigh. Little Luo, it looks like you have finally made your choice. As your father, this choice breaks my heart a little. But looking at it as a man, I truly admire you and feel so proud. The road ahead of you will be filled with many hardships and great dangers, but you are the son of Li Taishuan. How could those things ever scare you? Zhang Dailan wiped away her tears and began explaining the artificial spirit resonance they had worked so hard to create. It is a grade 4 resonance, with water as the primary element and light as the secondary. Li Luo was stunned. Why would it be water? Li Taishuan suddenly laughed. Little Luo, do you think a water resonance is too weak? Is it not what you expected? Once again, my parents had managed to read my mind. Li Taishuan explained that water is often underestimated because its raw, destructive power is lower than other elements, yet it is incredibly persistent. In longer battles, it can eventually outlast and defeat any element. Furthermore, water has a very unique property. When Li Luo merges with this resonance, his heavily damaged body will feel much more comfortable than with other harsher elements like fire. And the final combination of water and light will likely produce results that are far beyond anyone's expectations. There was also another reason they chose those two specific elements. Li Luo's parents were hoping that their son could eventually become a master resonance refiner. Other refiners usually only have water or light. Since you have both, it would be a total waste if you did not become one. They did this so that even if the Luo Lan house goes bankrupt for your sake, you will still have a profession. You will never be mistreated anywhere. Li Taishuan said this with a smug look, clearly proud of his godlike foresight. As for that crystal sphere, it only contains the first spirit resonance and a single divine technique. Meanwhile, Li Luo actually possesses 3 resonance palaces, though the second and third resonances will be much more profound and complicated. Li Taishuan and Zhang Dailan suggested that their son reach the master stage first, then find and forge his second resonance himself. As for the third divine technique, they left information in the royal city. Li Luo just needs to wait for the right time to go. At this point, the projection began to blur, signaling that it was about to end. Before vanishing completely, Li Taishuan and Zhang Dailan left one final promise. They would stay safe until they finally met their son again. As for him, he must absolutely not come looking for them until he reaches the Duke stage. After those final words, the image vanished entirely. Li Luo rubbed his stinging eyes, silently thanking his parents for everything they had done for him. Knowing his parents were still alive brought him some peace. He vowed that he would make them both feel surprised and incredibly proud. From this moment on, he was officially a resonance user. Suddenly, urgent knocking echoed through the silence of the deep night. Li Luo blearily opened his eyes as Kai Wei's worried voice came from outside. "Young lord, are you doing all right?" Looking at everything, Li Luo realized the voice belonged to Qing's assistant, Kai Wei. "What is going on? Why am I feeling so weak? What's wrong with me? Why do my arms and legs feel so completely weak?" Receiving no answer, Kai Wei grew anxious, like someone who just forgot their wallet at a checkout counter. She felt incredibly rushed. What if he wakes up way too late for this? Fearing something was wrong with Li Luo, she spoke up again. "Why did the young lord's voice sound so incredibly weak? Qing Yi sent me to tell you that the 9 pavilion lords of Luo Lan House have arrived." Li Luo struggled to reply. "Fine." Hearing his reply, Kai Wei felt a weight lift. She quickly answered like she was chasing a deadline. "All right, I am leaving now." My mind was racing with 1,000 different thoughts. This extreme weakness confirms everything. The artificial spirit resonance really has drained more than half of my 17 years' worth of life essence. Now, even my hair has already turned into a bright, shocking silver color. I stared in the mirror, depressed. I looked like a frail old man. Starting now, do I really only have 5 years of life left? That really puts the pressure on. But on the bright side, I think I might actually look even more handsome now. I can feel a strange power and nourishment flowing through my body. It seems the artificial spirit resonance has successfully merged with me. My impossible problem of having no resonance has finally been solved. Having no resonance caused me so much trouble, but it finally revealed its own unique magic. I pushed open the door, letting the morning sun flood in. I spread my arms to welcome the day, telling myself, "Li Luo, a new life awaits you." Meanwhile, at the old Luo Lan house, the grand hall was divided into 2 sides, with 2 main seats in the center, though one remained completely empty. One side was filled with people opposing Jiang Qing, while 2 others remained strictly neutral. This clearly showed just how chaotic the Luo Lan house had truly become. 3 pavilion lords swayed by Pei Hao sat on one side, while the 4 lords supporting Qing sat on the other. At the round table, Bui Hao lounged back with a careless look, pretending to be casual. "Little sister, everyone has been waiting here for quite a while. Why hasn't the young palace master shown up yet?" Before anyone could even respond, he just kept rambling on and on. "Even though he is the young master, we are the ones who have been risking our lives for the Lac Lam Palace. Back when our master and his wife were still here, these meetings always started exactly on time. It proved that they truly valued people like us. Now, things are different." Thon Na couldn't stay silent any longer and snapped back. "When our master and his wife were still here, why didn't you show any of this supposed talent?" Bui Hao suppressed his growing rage, frowning as the music intensified. "Sister, we have to look forward. If the young master refuses to show his face, then we should just go ahead and get started already. After all, everyone is already well aware of the young master's current situation. If nobody has any objections, then let us begin the business immediately." Just then, Li Luo appeared and spoke up, instantly shutting the man's arrogant, non-stop chatter right down. "It has been years, and you have certainly grown more arrogant, Brother Bui. If my parents saw how successful you have become, I am sure they would be very happy." As he stepped out looking incredibly sharp, the room fell silent. Everyone bowed their heads in deep respect for him. "Greetings, young palace master." Bui Hao was forced to stop his peacock-like posturing, only able to grit his teeth in pure frustration. Looking at Li Luo's new look, Thon Inga wondered how he was fine yesterday, yet today his hair was as white as snow. Li Luo continued to openly mock Bui Hao. "It has been a few years, but you really do not seem like the same man anymore." The tension around Bui Hao dropped. He did not miss the chance to insult Li Luo's new white hair. "It has been a long time. You have grown up, little Luo. But why is your face so pale? With that white hair, it looks like you are already dying." Hearing such a blatant provocation, the people around them could not help but think the man was on a total suicide mission. Thon Nga's eyes were already filled with killing intent. She looked ready to write his name in the Book of the Dead. She growled his name under her breath. Bu Hao played innocent, covering his mouth. "My apologies," my tongue slipped. "Little Luo won't be mad, right?" Li Luo just smiled calmly in response. "Your true nature is already on full display, Bui Hao. Why would I blame you? Besides, even if I did blame you, what could I actually do?" Bui Hao just smiled, hiding his malice behind a mask. He felt incredibly smug, thinking to himself that without those 2 powerhouses protecting the palace, he finally had the upper hand. "I am not afraid of anyone in this palace. If it was not for Thonanga, I would have taken control of everything a long time ago." He pushed again. "Now that the young master is here, can we finally begin the meeting?" Thon Na refused to let him take the lead. She fired the first shot. "You speak first. Why hasn't the massive amount of gold from your 3 pavilions been delivered to the treasury this year?" Bui Hao's face darkened. Junior sister, surely you must have heard the news by now. The warehouses for those pavilions caught fire. We haven't found the culprit yet, so we cannot pay any of the money this year. Thang Nga did not give him an inch. Is that really your excuse? He just smirked. If you need a reason, I can make one up. Why bother asking? Forget it. Since we are at this point, I should give a straight answer to both you and the young master right now. My pavilions will not be paying anything this year. In fact, we will not be paying ever again. Pavilion Master Lei Zhang, a loyalist to Thang Nga, could no longer stay silent and yelled, Bui Hao, do you intend to destroy this palace? Bui Hao laughed wickedly. I do not want it to collapse. Actually, it is not impossible for me to pay that gold. But first, the young master must agree to one condition. Li Luo remained calm and asked what the man wanted. His eyes flashed with the malice of a venomous snake. He stared at Thang Na with pure greed. I have one hope. I want the young master to cancel his engagement to my junior sister. Hearing this shameless demand, killing intent rose in Li Luo's eyes. Before he could speak, Thang Nga's power exploded outward in a fit of rage. She instantly summoned her sword and lunged forward toward him with incredible, blinding speed. Bui Hao grunted, bracing for the clash. Their powers collided in a massive explosion. Even then, she did not stop mocking this pathetic man. Has your gold aspect reached rank 7 already? You must have stolen a lot of money from this palace to manage that. Bui Hao laughed arrogantly. The rank 9 light aspect is truly impressive. You are only at the early Earth Fiend stage, which is not far behind my late stage. Thanya fired back with deadly intensity. Bui Hao, if you do not want to die, take back those words. You have no right to interfere in our business. Seeing he could not reason with her, he turned to Li Luo. Li Luo, I assume you know that owning a treasure you cannot protect is a crime. This palace is a gold mine you do not deserve, and she is far beyond your reach. You are simply unworthy of her. Li Luo frowned. So in your opinion, I should just give up both the palace and my fiancé? Aren't you worried my parents will return one day? Pei Hao smirked. Li Luo, stop dreaming. Based on the intel I have gathered lately, he let out a twisted laugh, emphasizing his words. Master and mistress, I am afraid they are never coming back. Pei Hao shouted, You have no future. You aren't even half the man I was. You have absolutely nothing left now. Lei Zhang ignored Pei Hao's hollow threats. Deep down, he actually felt a hint of admiration for Li Luo. The young master was born without a resonance, but his grit was undeniable. Li Luo ignored the insult and asked the question weighing on his heart. It is actually strange to me. My parents were your greatest benefactors, yet you hate them so much. Why? Pei Hao fell silent for a long moment. His expression darkened as he replied. They knew I wanted to be a real disciple, not just some honorary student. But they never gave it to me. I bled for House Luolan, yet they stayed silent. Do you know how much that disappointment hurts? Li Luo shrugged in agreement. My parents were right to do that. Given your treacherous nature, making you an inner disciple would have only fueled your dangerous ambition even further. He gave a mocking laugh. Young master, worry about yourself. Greed has a price, and you do not have the status to pay it. Li Luo stared him down with cold eyes. Pei Hao, I was going to say the exact same thing to you. Pei Hao squinted and gave a greasy smile. Whatever. From now on, whether my 3 pavilions follow your orders depends entirely on my mood. The people around them glared with pure hatred. Pei Hao glanced around and sneered. What? You want to make a move on me? Aside from my little sister, none of you stand a chance against me. Lei Zhang hated to admit it, but Pei Hao was a late-stage Earthshard general. The other pavilion masters are only at the primary stage, while I am at the middle stage. We really are no match for him. He chuckled, reaching into his robe to find something. Listen, I am only doing this to keep House Luo Lan standing in the Great Xia. If my junior sister works with me, we will reach new heights. For now, we can only blame the young master's greed. He pulled out a command medallion, looking triumphant. Make no mistake, I am not stopping here. Lei Zhang's eyes widened in shock. Is that Elder Mo's medallion? Besides the 9 pavilions, House Luolan has 3 high elders. These 3 guardian elders are all in the powerful Heavenly Star General realm. They only act against foreign enemies and should stay neutral, yet the medallion was in Pei Hao's hand. He calmly recalled the master's old words. If someone gains support from 2 guardian elders and 4 pavilion masters, they earn the right to challenge for the house leadership. Don't worry, I won't tear this place apart. I want House Luolan whole. Everyone screamed in fury, cursing him. Pei Hao, you're shameless. You should repay kindness, not betray it. He turned to leave, waving them off. Li Luo, cherish this final year. Once we reach the day of the house festival, House Luolan will be finished with you. That is when you will truly lose everything. Li Luo stayed silent. Silence was the ultimate form of contempt. After Pei Hao left, everyone looked crushed, but Jiang Qingye remained remarkably calm on the outside. After discussing a few matters with the 6 pavilion masters, everyone finally headed home. Li Luo sat alone in the main chair, his brow furrowed as he replayed the day's events. Suddenly, a pair of boots appeared in his line of sight. Chinga stood there silently like a loyal companion, making the scene feel strangely romantic. She spoke first, noticing his hidden anger despite his calm exterior. Li Luo gave a gentle smile. "Why are you so upset?" Ching winked at him. "You did well today and didn't lose face." Li Luo admitted his true feelings. "Honestly, I wanted to kill him on the spot to clear my parents' name." Jing'e sat on the chair's arm, gently offering him some advice. "Nobody has a perfect life. Staying patient at the right time is nothing to be ashamed of." Li Luo smiled. "I see how much trouble our house is in. These last 2 years must have been so hard for you, Sister Ching'e." She closed her eyes. "Don't take Pei Hao's words to heart. I will take care of him. I just need a little more time. Besides, I made a promise. I will hand over a complete House Luo land to you. You should focus on next month's exam. If you don't get into Sage Astral Academy, all our agreements are void. But the odds aren't great. If you need help, tell me now." Li Luo waited for her to finish, then reached out with a warm look. "Give me your hand." She stayed silent and gently placed her hand in his. As they sat together, a sudden surge of spirit energy flowed between them. Ching was stunned, unable to believe what she was actually feeling right now. She asked in disbelief, "A water resonance? You actually have one. So the gift your parents left behind finally worked for you." Li Luo just nodded and smiled. Ching'e let out a sigh of relief. This was truly incredible news. Li Luo took the chance to ask her, "How much do you believe what he said about my parents?" She thought for a second. "They are likely stuck, but they are safe. I have no clue where he got his info, but there is no way he understands the true power of my masters." Hearing that put my mind at ease. I looked at her and asked, "You feel the same way then?" Thanga just smiled softly. "I am heading back to the capital tomorrow," she said. "I hope our next meeting is at the St. Astral Academy." The next day, I watched her depart. Once she was gone, I turned to Uncle Lu. "Please request a week of leave for me. I need some time at home to recover." Uncle Lu bowed respectfully. "Of course, young master." Then I looked at Sister Kai Wei. "I need you to buy some grade 4 spirit liquids." She stared at me, her mind clearly racing with 1,000 different questions. I was born without a resonance, so why would I need those? "Still," she asked cautiously, "how many sets do you require, young lord?" I gave her a playful cat-like grin and replied, "Let us start with 50 sets. 50 sets of grade 4 spirit liquid?" she asked, her voice trembling with worry. I just nodded my head like I was pounding garlic. "That is right." Kai Wei went silent, her mind spinning. Spirit liquids are never cheap, and grade 4 versions cost an absolute fortune. Market price is 1,000 gold pieces each. 50 sets would cost 50,000 gold pieces. Our entire estate only brings in 300,000 gold a year, and business is getting worse by the day. These liquids refine your resonance, but impurities build up. Eventually, the resonance chamber seals shut, hitting a hard limit. 50 sets could last years, but Thang Nga told her to support me, no matter what crazy things I asked for. She finally let out a long sigh and agreed. "Great," I said happily. "I will leave it in your hands, sister." With that, I turned and walked away. Kai Wei watched me go, her heart heavy with a growing sense of unease. Our house is on the brink of collapse. This young master seems a bit reckless. Life here in Tianshu Prefecture is about to get very complicated for everyone. I hurried back to the old family estate, my heart racing with excitement and anticipation. Time to see if I can find a cultivation technique that actually works for me today. The library held countless techniques. Most were moved to the capital, but this old house still kept a decent collection of hidden gems for me to browse through now. As I stepped inside, the library manager spotted me. He hurried over, bowing low with a respectful greeting as soon as he realized exactly who I was. "Young master, it has been a long time since we last saw you here in the library. What brings you here today?" I smiled and told him my request. "Bring me every energy cultivation technique suitable for a grade 4 resonance." He nodded quickly. "As you wish, young master." But deep down, he was clearly stunned by what I had just asked of him. I rarely visit, and when I do, I only look at battle arts. Why was I suddenly interested in energy cultivation methods instead? But as a lowly manager, he knew better than to question the orders of his superior. He kept his mouth shut. "Please, rest for a moment," he said politely. We headed inside, and he got to work fulfilling my specific request as quickly as possible. He returned shortly to report. "Young master, every energy technique compatible with a grade 4 resonance is gathered right here." He gestured toward a pile of scrolls. He had even gone the extra mile by organizing them with detailed notes and data. "There are 28 beginner-level energy techniques and 6 general-level techniques ready for your review." I nearly cried with joy, silently thanking my parents. It looked like I finally found the right cultivation path today. Techniques are ranked as beginner, general, duke, and king level. Each stage of cultivation requires its own specific matching level of technique. Beginner techniques are everywhere. but you need to be part of a mid-tier power to find general-level methods. If a king-level technique ever appeared, the top factions would start a bloody war just to claim it. Our house only has 2 duke-level techniques left by my parents. The higher the level, the more demanding it is on the actual user's natural talent and resonance quality. I asked the manager to find every technique I was actually qualified to practice right now. Next, I needed to see what fit my water-light resonance. As the sun began to set, I finally stretched and sighed. I narrowed my choices down to these 3 energy techniques. First, the 9-stage earth-swallowing method, a low-tier general rank. Second, the Blue Ocean Meditation Map, mid-tier general rank. Third, the Spirit Transformation Manual, also mid-tier. Too many choices can freeze a person, and I was no different. I agonized over which one of these would suit me best. Finally, I stared at the second scroll and made my choice. It is going to be you, the Blue Ocean Meditation Map. Practicing this will make my power as vast as the sea. It fits my water-light resonance perfectly for now. I can always switch later. Beneath the library was a secret chamber built by my parents. Only they and Jiang Qingna had ever been allowed to train down there. Standing at the entrance, I hesitated. This was my first time here. I reached out and gently touched the stone pillar by the door. Suddenly, a golden light flickered across the door, racing down the ancient carved lines from top to bottom. I let out a soft gasp of shock. As the massive doors groaned open, a blinding golden radiance spilled out, slowly flooding every corner of the room. I stepped inside, breathless. My parents spent over 100,000 gold taels building this cultivation room. It was crafted entirely from solid sky gold. Sky gold isn't just currency, it acts like a magnet for world energy. Standing in a house made of gold is honestly a magnificent sight to behold. Just standing here, I can feel the raw, immense power of the world pulsing around me. Training here is already half the battle won. After saying goodbye to Kai Wei, I made my way to a private hidden location. Only my parents and Jiang Qinghe have trained here. I won't let them down. I won't waste the sacrifices they made for my future. I focused on my forms, 6 soils, 3 inches, and 9 revolutions, 4 layers. I could hear the faint sound of ocean waves rushing. The blue surge intent rose within me like a crashing tide. As the phantom waves hit, the ambient world energy began to swirl and flow. With every breath, the energy seeped through my pores and began to circulate deep into my body. Water energy felt the strongest, mixed with a soft trace of light. It was the gentle, soothing touch of the water element. Pure light energy mingled with the water. These 2 currents merged within me, finally settling into my blue-lit resonance palace as my very own spirit power. Feeling the power in my palm, I smiled. My spirit energy must have finally reached the 3-seal level. I've no idea how long it's been, but suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my muscles. I hit my limit for the day and had to stop. Sitting in the silence, I started planning. Next month's academy exams are coming fast. I need to upgrade my resonance tier now. My only goal is to get into the Astral Sage Academy. I'm sure I can reach the 5-seal stage in a week, but that's not enough. That's it for today. Suddenly, a messenger arrived. Young Lord, Manager Kai Wei sent me to tell you. The items you requested have been delivered to your room. I replied, okay, I got it. Internally, I was impressed by how efficient Kai Wei really is. Kai Wei is quite the assistant to Sister Qinghe. I thought these wouldn't arrive until tomorrow morning. Looking at the spirit water and mirror light, I knew these were essential to refining my water and light resonances. Just like medicinal pills, these supplements are a lifelong necessity for any serious resonance master on their journey. Blue Crystal Spirit Water. Grade 4, refining power 58%. The purer the liquid, the higher the refining power and overall impact. Higher quality means fewer impurities to worry about during the process. If you use too much of this stuff too quickly, impurities build up inside your resonance palace. It can clog your palace, but I was born without a resonance. This blank resonance means I can use these liquids without fear. Let's see how much these 50 bottles can boost my grade 4 resonance. As the sky shifted colors, I finally finished the last drop. I breathed a sigh of relief. Half the bottles were still left, and the results were already incredible. Even my spirit power felt more robust. But at this rate, reaching grade 5 will probably take over 100 bottles of grade 4 liquid. Doing the math now, jumping from grade 4 to 5 will cost 200,000 gold taels. Grade 5 to 6 is nearly 1 million. 6 to 7? That's several million. Just thinking about it made me break into a cold sweat. Landling House only makes a few million a year. This artificial resonance is basically a bottomless money pit. I'm afraid Landling House can't afford a spendthrift like me. For the next 2 days, I spent my mornings focusing on the Blue Surge meditation. Then I'd practice resonance techniques for 2 hours before consuming the spirit water to upgrade my resonance grade. My spirit energy has finally surged up to the 4th seal level. My grade 4 waterlight resonance grew purer until I ran out of liquid. Meanwhile, back at the old manor, everyone was gathered in the main hall. Kai Wei's voice was ice as she called out Manager Gu's name. He answered nervously. Holding the files, she asked, "Why has Lanling House revenue in Tianshu dropped so drastically?" Manager Gu clasped his hands and replied, "Lanling House owns 9 trading guilds in Tianshu Prefecture. We have 18 mineral and medicinal shops. But because of our recent internal turmoil, 3 local families are aggressively stealing our business." Kai Wei frowned, deep in thought. Then she looked up at the group of managers and spoke firmly. "Close the guilds that can't be saved for now. Once Lanling House is stable again, those 3 families will pay back every cent they took from us." Everyone agreed in unison. Right then, there was a knock at the door. It was me, Li Luo. Seeing me, Kai Wei dismissed the managers. They bowed and quickly left the room, giving the 2 of us some much-needed privacy. Kai Wei asked, "Is something wrong, young lord?" I felt a bit awkward and said, "Honestly, I need a small favor from you, Kai Wei." Noticing my hesitant look, she asked curiously, "Well, what is it?" I flashed a bright smile. "Regarding that grade 4 spirit liquid, I already used all 50 bottles. I was wondering if you could buy me 100 more." The air in the room froze instantly. It was so incredibly awkward, you could practically hear the crickets chirping in the silence. Kai Wei marched in with a dark expression and demanded, "You want 100 more sets of 4th grade spirit liquid?" She suddenly slammed her hand on the table, making me jump so hard my soul nearly left my body. Her voice dropped to a dangerous growl. "Li Luo," she screamed in fury. "Are you trying to drive me to quit my job?" I scrambled to do damage control, shaking like a leaf. "Sister Kai Wei, why say that? Everyone sees how talented you are. I would never want you to leave." Kai Wei heard my words and tried to swallow her burning rage. Finally, she let out a helpless sigh. "Young House Lord, forgive me. I just got a little too emotional there." Her eyes suddenly sharpened as she shot me a piercing look. "Has someone tricked you into buying all this spirit liquid? You need to understand that buying 100 sets of this stuff is a massive investment and no small matter." Still a bit shaken, I replied, "Sister Kai Wei, do not jump to conclusions. I really am using that spirit liquid myself." She looked at me skeptically. "What could you possibly need so much spirit liquid for?" I finally regained my composure and answered, "Honestly, I do not mind telling you the truth about it. It is actually a secret technique my parents left behind. My resonance has finally awakened, so the spirit liquid is absolutely essential now. Even Sister Chinga knows about this." Kai Wei gasped in shock. "A secret technique from the 2 house lords? If that is the case, I will handle the purchase for you." Still vividly remembering her earlier outburst, I carefully tested the waters. "Am I making things too difficult for you, sister?" Kai Wei smiled softly. "It is a bit of a challenge, but it is certainly nothing I cannot handle. If it helps you awaken your resonance, it would be worth sacrificing everything we have built here in Tianshu Prefecture." She gave a playful wink. "Do not worry, I will handle everything. You should never underestimate the skills of your big sister." I said sincerely, "Thank you so much, Sister Kai Wei." She gave a polite bow and saw me out. Kai Wei watched me walk away before sinking back into her own deep thoughts. If that secret technique can truly fix his natural lack of resonance, he might actually be worthy of someone like Ching-A. But he still has many heavy burdens to carry in the future. Over the next few days, I poured all my time into training my power and upgrading my resonance grade. On the final day of my break, my power level finally showed real progress, reaching the 5th seal stage. After using the spirit liquid, my water resonance finally completed its first evolution, rising to the 5th grade level. A few days later, Nanfeng Academy was absolutely buzzing with gossip from the usual crowd. "Wait, is that really Li Luo?" they all whispered. "Exams are next month and he dared to take time off? And what is with his hair? Did he dye it? I heard he is dropping out and skipping the academy exams." I just shook my head. Rumors really are a terrifying thing. I was surprised to see someone waiting at the gate. I tried to say hello, but Master Shan Yue snapped. "So, you finally decided to return? Li Luo. I know not having a resonance is a lot of pressure, but you should not just give up right now." I shrugged, totally confused. "But I am not giving up, Master." His face darkened even more. "Then how do you explain taking a whole week off while everyone else was training? You just went home to rest." I shivered, feeling like a failing student getting called out at a funeral. I muttered softly, "Sorry, teacher. I promise it will not happen again." Shan Yue decided to stop pressuring me. "Fine, just get inside and prepare for class." When Zhao Kuo saw my flashy new hair, he gasped, "What on earth happened to your head?" I struck a cool pose and grinned. "Just dyed it silver gray. Think it is stylish enough for me?" Once the room was full, Shan Yue spoke up. "Students, with the academy entrance exams coming up soon, I hope you all push yourselves until the very end. I also want to praise Zhao Kuo and Yuan Chu. Both have reached the 6th seal stage." Zhao Kuo only gave a forced, awkward smile at the praise. Meanwhile, Yuan Chu just struck a flashy pose. By noon, everyone was waiting for the teacher to finally finish the lecture on resonance arts. Zhao Kuo had been waiting for that moment and rushed over to me. Brother Luo, could you please give me some pointers on those 3 resonance arts from earlier? I replied casually. What kind of brother would I be if I did not help you out? Wait. I looked closer at his face. Hey, what happened to you? Zhao Kuo frowned, looking annoyed. It was that jerk Bei Kun from the first house. He got even angrier as he spoke. I do not know what his problem is lately, but he keeps harassing people from our house. I finally got fed up and fought him a few times. That guy plays dirty and hits hard, but I gave as good as I got. I nearly wrecked his face. The rest of the class started chiming in. Exactly. That Bei Kun guy is such a complete jerk. We did not even do anything, but he keeps picking fights. Thank goodness for Zhao Kuo, or no one could stop him. Zhao Kuo turned to me. You have not messed with that Bei Kun guy lately, have you? It really feels like he is specifically targeting you. I felt a bit guilty. Well, Defaching did mention him before. Is that idiot really waiting for me to invite him out to dinner or something? I looked at Zhao Kuo apologetically. That is probably it. Sounds like you have been taking hits meant for me. Zhao Kuo waved it off. I am fine, but now that you are back, we have resonance class this afternoon. He is coming for you. Let me handle him then. Maybe I can finally break that 7th seal, Li Luo muttered. We will decide when it happens. You are probably wondering, Bei Hun, letting my friends take the fall for me just is not who I am. Deep in the lush woods, a stunning scene unfolds right before my eyes. It was afternoon training at Nanfeng Academy. Deep in the northern woods stood a massive, ancient tree. Every single leaf was a premium, private cultivation spot for a student. Each leaf stretched over 2 meters long. They were thick, acting like solid platforms for training. 1 student per leaf. The resonance tree only opens for half a day. When the bell tolls at the peak, the gates open. It is the moment everyone waits for. The leaves on this tree were strictly divided by their resonance rank. There were 3 tiers: gold, silver, and bronze. 60% were bronze, 30% were silver, and gold leaves made up only 10%. Fewer than 10 gold leaves existed for both houses, mostly held by the first academy. As the bell rang, students swarmed the massive tree in a frenzy. Li Luo stared at the sky, his eyes filled with a deep sense of regret. I really regret not realizing I was soulless earlier. I gave away my gold leaf. Oh well, I will just have to settle for silver today. Fa Qing stared at him blankly, her eyes heavy with sadness as she thought about his recent mysterious disappearance. Li Luo had been gone for a week. Now that he is back, is he just hiding from Bei Hun and the trouble he brings? An Hoa chimed in, eager for the gossip. What a shame, he is so good-looking. She then started reminiscing about her old academy crush. I remember back when Li Luo was in the first academy, you were totally obsessed with him. Fa Qing snapped back, insisting she was nothing like them. But even if she did admire him, now was definitely not the time. She muttered about how shallow they all were. Meanwhile, someone stepped onto Li Luo's leaf and started mocking him with a sharp voice. Hey, Li Luo, the man standing before you comes from a prestigious, noble family. He was Bei Hun, from one of Nanfeng City's 3 great families. He sneered at Li Luo. I thought you'd been banned from the academy for good. You made me wait at Qingfeng Tower all day. How do you plan on making this right? Li Luo did not hold back, hitting him with a sharp comeback. Don't blame your own stupidity on me, okay? Just how smart are you to actually believe I would show up to treat you at that tower? Bei Hun's face twisted with pure rage as he barked an order. Apologize right now, Li Luo, and I might let this go. Otherwise, you will regret it. But Li Luo just stared back. Scram! He gritted his teeth and growled a challenge. Tough talk. Do you actually have the guts to fight me? Li Luo did not even look at him, not interested. Bei Hun clicked his tongue and let out a manic, mocking laugh. Is everyone in the second academy such a pathetic coward? The air went cold. Everyone was stunned by his arrogance. Bei Hun kept pressing, hurling one insult after another. Li Luo, you are not really going to let your personal problems drag down the entire second academy, are you? Zhao Kuo finally snapped. He got right in the guy's face and yelled, Shut your mouth! If you want to fight, come and take it from me! Bei Hun recognized him instantly and let out a sarcastic sneer. Oh, it is you again. I guess I did not hit you hard enough last time. Li Luo stepped in, his tone light and teasing. Why bother with this pile of trash? Then, his eyes turned cold and commanding. Help me remember every single one of these faces. I will eventually teach them what it means to live in peace with their peers. Before Bei Hun could respond, Li Luo stunned him with questions. Big brother, is all this really necessary? We are just kids having a schoolyard spat. Are you really going home to call for reinforcements? He frowned, clearly annoyed. Li Luo, do you have no shame? Using underhanded tactics like this? Li Luo flashed a mocking grin. If you are not happy about it, then bring some Bei family elites to fight me. Bei Hun broke into a cold sweat. Calling the family experts was impossible, and even if he could, would they even dare to touch Li Luo? He was terrified he might end up with broken legs. His mind was spinning out of control. Suddenly, a powerful voice cut through the air. It was Wei Sha, the principal of Nanfeng Academy. He watched closely, thinking that the kid from Luo Yan Mansion was actually quite interesting. Beside him, Lin Feng, the first academy instructor, started analyzing the situation like a professional sports commentator. Lin Feng wondered why a simple student spat needed family intervention. How did the two legends of Luo Yan produce such a reckless son? Shan Yue fired back immediately. Master Lin Feng, those are some pretty harsh words you are using. Bei Hun knows Li Luo is soulless, yet he keeps picking fights. Isn't that actually much worse? Standing his ground, he argued that competition drives student growth. Seizing the moment, Lin Feng decided to make a very bold and sudden proposal. Principal, with the upcoming academy competition, the first academy is running quite low on those valuable gold leaves. Headmaster, how about 5 more gold leaves for the first house? Hearing this, the old man barked out his disapproval. Lin Feng, you want 5 leaves from the second house? Absolutely not. Rejected, Lin Feng immediately began to justify his bold request. From Chulei, the first house students are far more gifted than anyone else in Nanfeng Academy. Resources will yield better results in their hands. Refusing to back down, the other man continued his mocking. Why not send some students to St. Xuan Star? Go teach at that prestigious academy yourself. Hearing this, Sun Yak roared with fury. Sun Fong, stop being so arrogant. Seeing the tension rise, Wei Sha finally stepped in to act as the powerful mediator. Stop fighting. If you both want those gold leaves, then let your students battle for them instead. Let's do this. Pick 3 students from the 6th seal stage. If the first house wins, the second house gives up 5 leaves. If they lose, they give up 10. After a moment of thought, Lin Feng reluctantly agreed. Fine, consider this a favor to the struggling students of the second house. Meanwhile, Sun Nak expressed his deep concern about their strength. Headmaster, our second house only has 2 students at the 6th seal level right now. To calm the situation, Wei Sha decided to handle the entire matter himself. Little Z, relax. If you lose, I will compensate the second house next year. There is still 1 month until the academy competition. Hearing that, he accepted his fate. Fine, it is just human nature after all. The headmaster favors the elite first house, so why would he ever worry about the second house? As the negotiation ended, Wei Sha gave them his orders. Fine, go back and prepare. Both men responded in unison with deep respect. Yes, headmaster. On a distant silver leaf, Sun Yak gathered the second house team and began explaining the dire situation. Sun Yak summoned the second house students and gave them a quick summary of the upcoming match against the first house. The news sparked immediate anger. Every student felt frustrated by the blatant injustice. The first house is really pushing it this time. They already have 40 gold leaves. Is that not enough? Now they want to rob us? We have absolutely zero chance of winning this duel. Another male student spoke up, his voice filled with fear. Our second house only has 2 people at the 6th seal stage. A nearby female student nervously suggested they just give up now. Watching them whisper, Sun Yak brooded over the massive gap in their power levels. The difference in strength was obvious. Even with the 6th seal limit, the second house was still a major underdog in this fight. After much hesitation, he finally made his decision. Zhao Kuo and Yuan Chu will represent us in the upcoming match. Hearing his name, Zhao Kuo stepped forward with a fierce declaration. Teacher, do not worry. I will not let our second house lose face. I will show them the second house is not to be messed with. Seeing them ready, a female student rubbed her forehead and asked, Teacher, what about the third fighter? He went silent, his gaze fixed ahead as if he were searching for a single spark of light within the deep darkness. The other students exchanged nervous glances, clearly trying to avoid his eyes. Seeing this reaction, Sun Yak felt a heavy weight in his heart. After a heavy silence, his eyes landed on the boy. Li Luo, you go. Do not feel any pressure. It is okay even if you lose. You will go first. If you can, try to drain some of the opponent's resonance power. That way, the fighters after you will have a better chance. Hearing this, Li Luo covered his face, his whole body trembling. He had a secret plan to keep a low profile, but it seemed fate had other ideas. With a spark in his eyes, Li Luo felt an intense urge to dazzle the entire world. Old man, you have no idea who you just picked for this fight. Today, the light in my eyes might just outshine the sun itself. Sun Yak saw him frozen and slapped his back to give him some energy. Why is your gaze so blank, kid? You're not scared, are you? High up on the massive great tree, a piece of breaking news was spreading, sending the crowd into a frenzy. News of the battle between the first and second houses over 5 gold leaves spread almost instantly through the entire academy. In no time at all, the massive resonance tree was packed with people, looking like a crowded skyscraper. Students from every corner of Nanfeng Academy rushed over to join the chaos, though almost nobody believed the second house could actually beat the first. On the right, the first house stood tall. Word spread they were at the 6th seal level. Yet, these fighters weren't even in their top 10 rankings. This meant the actual heavy hitters of the first house wouldn't even be lifting a finger for this match today. In contrast, the second house was incredibly tense. Even breathing felt heavy, a sharp difference from the relaxed vibe of the first house. The atmosphere at the second house was thick with anger and uncertainty. It seemed like even they didn't believe they could actually pull off a victory. High up on a golden leaf, Fa Qing rested her chin in her hands, looking down with a long, bored sigh. This is so boring. What is the point of a match like this? Just then, Qingyi walked over to comfort her, suggesting it was just a way to kill time. Seeing her, Fa Qing immediately began following her around like a loyal little shadow. Sister Qing, you usually hate these noisy crowds. Why are you here? Qing replied in a gentle tone, saying she just wanted to take a quick look. Both of them looked down at the silver leaf as she asked curiously, who do you think the second house will send out for this fight? Fa Qing squinted, guessing that only Zhao Kuo and Yuan Chu in the second institute had reached the sixth seal stage. She raised the big question. So who is the third person? Just then, a young man stepped forward from behind. He stated firmly that it was likely Li Luo. The arrogant guy ahead, Song Yunfeng, joined in with total confidence. Though he lacked a resonant soul, his talent for cultivation was immense, barely enough to challenge someone at the fifth seal level. Fa Qing immediately covered her mouth and giggled. Yunfeng, did you really come all this way just to watch the drama? Clearly you have other motives. The crowd standing around watching the spectacle burst into mocking laughter at his expense. After the laughter died down, silence fell. Yunfeng smiled, staring at Qing'er. She noticed him, but acted like she didn't care. Sensing the tension, Fa Qing forced a laugh and spoke up. If that is how it is, brother, you are not joking. Then she added a sarcastic jab. If the second institute actually sends Li Luo out, they are just asking for humiliation. After all, our first institute is sending 3 elites from the sixth seal stage. They are clearly the top fighters there. Hearing this, he looked disgusted. Do you really think they expect to win? They are just going through the motions here. Fa Qing nodded awkwardly, but then Qing'er slowly tucked her hair back and offered a different view. I am not so sure. Yunfeng frowned, his voice full of meaning. Qing'er, things are not like they used to be. She stayed silent and didn't argue. Seeing her reaction, he looked down in silence, his eyes burning with secret jealousy as he thought of Li Luo's name. Yunfeng gritted his teeth in frustration, muttering to himself, that bastard is already in the mud, so why is he still around? Just then, several groups of people were standing dazed under a tree. A few figures finally came into clear view. On the left, Zhao Kuo stared ahead. He whispered a worried warning. Brother Luo, be careful. If you cannot win, just surrender. Your face is too handsome to get ruined. That would be a huge loss. Li Luo grinned and gave a witty reply. Good brother, you have a great eye for talent. To the right, Liu Yang asked. Li Luo, what is your plan? Planning another threat? As the match started, Li Luo gripped his bat, raised it high with intense energy, and declared, who is next? Seeing this, Bei Hun raised an eyebrow and ordered, Liu Yang, deal with him. Liu Yang squinted one eye with total disdain. He felt beating the guy senseless might be a bit overkill. Bei Hun's mind raced with a clever plan. If you take down Li Luo now, can you not just move on to the next? Take out all 3 if you can. Liu Yang agreed instantly with a nod. Yeah, that sounds about right. He pulled out a golden staff resembling a Ruyi Jingu Bang. On the stage, only 2 figures remained amidst the rustling wind. Liu Yang channeled his energy, giving a smug, casual warning. Li Luo, do not bother holding back on me. Immediately, the crowd started speculating. They thought the second institute was forfeiting by sending Li Luo out for the first round. Long Feng announced the start. Once again, Shan Yue gave the signal. The green light flashed, both signaled ready, and the battle began. Within seconds, Li Luo charged forward like a rocket. Liu Yang was just as fast, moving with the agility of a ninja. Meanwhile, Liu Yang flashed a contemptuous smirk while running. Is your speed really just that? Is that all you have got? He watched the figure rushing toward him, but then in a heartbeat, Li Luo suddenly vanished into thin air. The sight left him speechless with shock. While he stood there dazed, Li Luo reappeared right in front of him, spinning his staff. Before Liu Yang could react, Li Luo slammed his staff right into his gut. Liu Yang was struck so hard he actually spit. He went flying dozens of feet back toward a massive tree trunk. Li Luo landed perfectly. Watching that incredible strike, Qing'er looked on with pure admiration. Nearby, Yunfeng stood frozen for 5 seconds. The entire arena held its breath, and every other student watched in total shock. A confused spectator spoke up. Did something just fly past us? Another student screamed in shock as Liu Yang went sailing through the air. Hearing this, a third person argued back. No, that was not Li Luo. As the arguments heated up, Li Luo rested his staff on his shoulder. He glanced over and delivered a crushing final line. What about my speed? Li Luo stood his ground proudly. The witnesses couldn't believe their eyes and began speaking out one by one. Liu Yang is at the sixth seal, yet he was beaten by one strike. How? Did he get paid to lose? Fa Qing watched from the side, confused. What was Liu Yang doing? That was so obvious. Yunfeng joined in with his own criticism. He underestimated his opponent. He didn't even use his resonant power. Next time, he won't be so lucky. Qinger had been watching closely. She spoke softly. I'm afraid he will win again next time. He might even win the next two matches. Yunfeng felt a surge of irritation at her words as the crowd around them began to grow loud and rowdy. No way she values him that much. Does she have feelings for Li Luo? I can't take this anymore. Yunfeng turned and barked. Who the hell is talking over there? Show yourself right now. His voice was like a cold wind, instantly silencing the chirping crowd that had gathered around him. He leaned in and whispered, Qinger, he can't win this. She heard him but stayed silent, her eyes locked on the arena. Zhao Kuo cheered wildly. Great job, Li Luo. Liu Yang clutched his chest in agony and stammered, I was reckless, didn't even try to dodge. Beihun stood nearby, visibly annoyed as he barked, Lu Tai, you're up next. Do not screw this up like the others did. Lu Tai heard the command and simply nodded in agreement. Someone nearby remarked that Li Luo's resonance techniques were incredibly refined. If his power reached the fifth seal, he could likely challenge most sixth seal opponents. Lin Feng retorted that if skill failed, the kid's luck had always been uncanny. The announcer roared, let the second round begin. Lu Tai channeled his resonance power, his blade erupting in an oppressive orange glow. He unleashed a fifth-grade fire resonance strike. The commentator tracked every move. Lu Tai pushed his power from the start, refusing to give Li Luo any room to breathe at all. Lu Tai charged forward like a blur, swinging his sword and sending waves of light crashing toward Li Luo's position. Lu Tai shouted with confidence, Li Luo, no matter what tricks you play, my fifth seal power will crush you. You're finished. Li Luo froze in place, his eyes widening in pure shock. Lu Tai's lightning-fast assault left no time for a counterattack, forcing him to barely sidestep the deadly blow. Lu Tai sneered, you think you can hide? Without resonance power, you can't block my martial techniques. He struck again, unleashing a mid-tier technique, the fire rain sword dance. Beams of light flew like burning arrows, quickly surrounding Li Luo and leaving him with absolutely nowhere to run. Calming his nerves after the initial panic, he gripped his staff. A soothing flow of clear blue water began to wrap around it. Thick mist suddenly flooded the stage, turning the entire arena into a sea of clouds. Lu Tai was completely blinded and wondered where all this heavy steam came from. Vision blocked. Li Luo's staff suddenly materialized right in front of Lu Tai's face out of nowhere. Violent jets of water swirled around it. It happened so fast that Lu Tai could only stare in wide-eyed disbelief. Snapping back to reality, he threw his sword up to defend himself. As he moved, his mind raced with questions and doubts. How did Li Luo block my previous strike? The staff collided with the sword, creating a deafening, ear-piercing screech that echoed through the arena. Lu Tai struggled to keep his balance, but his footing failed. He was sent flying backward across the floor. Wei Sha noticed something strange from the sidelines. On the stage, Lu Tai sat on the ground, completely dazed and confused. What just happened? Was my resonance power just suppressed? Li Luo stepped toward him, pointing his staff at Lu Tai's face with a commanding presence. Get out, you've lost. The outcome was clear, and the crowd erupted in whispers. Li Luo won again? How is that even possible? Lu Tai didn't underestimate him at all this time, yet he still suffered a crushing defeat to Li Luo. Lu Tai was using his full sixth seal power without holding back. Wei Sha smiled and said, everyone knows Li Luo was born without resonance, making cultivation impossible. But look at him now. It seems he finally awakened a water resonance after all. Qinger smiled with a sense of relief. Beside her, Yunfeng caught her expression. Her eyes were sparkling with a pure, undeniable joy that he found completely impossible to ignore. Nanfeng Academy is about to get a lot more interesting from now on. Li Luo, can you really make a comeback? Yunfeng watched, his jealousy growing more intense by the second. The match was over, but the crowd only grew larger and louder. Lin Feng stood aside, wondering what the hell was going on. How does he suddenly have water resonance? Did he use some illegal forbidden technique? Shan Yue overheard the gossip about his student and snapped back at them. Hey, watch your mouth. Just because he started with nothing doesn't mean he stays that way forever. Wei Sha laughed and spoke up. Acquired resonance is rare, but it is certainly not impossible to achieve. Legend says there are extremely rare treasures that can grant such miraculous powers. Given these powerful effects, his parents likely left him a legendary treasure to grant him this water resonance. We can simply ask him for the truth once all the matches are finished. We are only here to guide the students. The academy has no right to pry into his private affairs. Another opponent stepped onto the stage and faced him. Li Luo, I didn't think you'd hide your talent, so you're Bei Hun's pick. He continued with a look of pure disgust. Do you think these 3 matches will prove anything to us? I won't let you have your moment. Li Luo remained unbothered by the taunt and calmly replied, Why are you talking like an idiot? Is this some kind of performance? Bei Hun's anger boiled over. You have a big mouth, kid. Let's see how long you can keep talking all that trash. He unleashed his mountain tiger resonance as a massive long spear appeared. Blinding light radiated from below. The spectators watched with bated breath, but the rumors and gossip continued to spread through the stands. Bei Hun is a rank 6 powerhouse, the best in the 6 seals. This time, Li Luo is in real trouble. Like a spear cutting through wind, Bei Hun lunges forward and swings his weapon hard at Li Luo. Just a 5th seal, he sneered. And here I thought the underdog might actually stand a chance. They both launched into the air, flying straight at each other with intense speed. The crowd gasped. Li Luo actually blocked that massive burst of power. He is only a 5th seal. Li Luo's power keeps climbing. How? It's the high-tier 9th rank green wave. Even in the elite Sun Courtyard, only a handful of students can pull that off. He is using fluently. He really is the most talented student in our Southwind Academy. If Bei Hun doesn't break this now, he'll lose. He felt the pressure building and started to panic. Li Luo's energy feels so pure. I cannot let this continue any longer. He stopped thinking and unleashed a high-level spear strike, screaming, Li Luo, prepare to die! Suddenly, Li Luo's staff flared with a blinding, brilliant light. Bei Hun froze mid-attack. He shouted in shock, wondering where that intense light came from. He pushed through, swinging his spear at Li Luo, but the tension was rising. What was happening? This one strike should have definitely pierced right through Li Luo's shoulder. His heart hammered like a warning drum, paralyzing him. Only one thought remained, it's over. While he was distracted, Li Luo seized the opening and slammed his staff right into Bei Hun's face. The impact sent him crashing down into the dirt with a massive thud. Li Luo stood alone on the stage. Where Bei Hun fell, only a thick cloud of dust remained. The audience could not believe their eyes. Everyone stood there with their mouths wide open in total shock. Then, someone finally screamed, Did you see that? He has finally returned. 3 rank 6 students from the first courtyard were taken down by Li Luo alone. The other students watched in shock, no longer daring to underestimate him. Is this fallen legend finally rising again? Fa Jing was confused. Didn't he have no power from birth? How does he have a nature? Than Ni replied calmly, though her voice carried a hint of pride. Acquired natures are rare, but not impossible. Certain special treasures can actually trigger them in a person. Li Luo's parents were legendary figures. It is no surprise that he has some hidden tricks. Fa Jing still looked worried. Did he really flip the script? Yunfeng scoffed. It's not that easy. His power is likely water-based, around rank 5 or 6, and he is only at the 5th seal. Do you really think a rank 5 or 6 at the 5th seal is that rare? Fa Jing agreed. The academy exam is less than a month away. Can he really catch up? It seemed impossible. Li Luo jumped off the stage and walked toward a group of people nearby. Hello, principal. The man addressed as principal asked, Is your power issue finally resolved? He quickly replied, Yes, it is a rank 4 or 5 water element. Lam Fong acted like a mentor. A water nature is average, but work hard and you might succeed. He politely shot back. No need to worry yourself, Mentor Lam Fong. Rank is important, but there have been plenty of rank 5 masters who became kings and legends. He laughed and sneered. A rank 5 becoming a king? Do you actually believe that? VSAT signaled for silence and told Li Luo that having confidence was a good thing. But with less than a month until the exam, you must work much harder. Li Luo bowed. Understood. VSAT's expression turned serious. All right, since everyone is here, I have an announcement to make. In 2 weeks, the Academy will hold a mock examination. The requirement for St. Astral Academy is at least the 7th seal. The crowd began to buzz. 7th seal? Only a few elite students can reach that. It sounds easy, but the competition is going to be incredibly intense, Li Luo thought silently. To be safe, I need to find a way to upgrade my power. Evening fell, and a gentle breeze swayed the trees back and forth. Leaves drifted in the wind. Someone spoke softly behind him. Congratulations, young palace master. He turned around, scratching his head awkwardly. He stammered a few words. Hello. Hi. Than Ni looked at him calmly. Done hiding? I am not, he replied, feeling the tension rise. She watched him with a cold intensity. Li Luo, I am the top student at Namfong Academy now. Beat me if you want your spot back. I stayed silent before to protect your fragile pride, but if you are a man, go take back everything you have lost. I will give it my all, he whispered. Than Ni turned to leave, but stopped to deliver a final, stinging blow. I am waiting. Just know, your behavior these last few years has significantly lowered my respect for you. If the chance arises, her final words were lost to the wind, leaving a heavy silence between them. Li Luo watched her figure disappear in the distance. He sighed. I have definitely offended her. Pretty girls always seem to hold the longest grudges. High above them in the nearby tower, a silent figure had been standing still. He watched their every move with a predatory focus for quite some time. Sensing the gaze, Li Luo looked up. Why is Yunfeng staring at me like I am some kind of target? Seeing Li Luo notice him, Yunfeng began to mouth words slowly, making sure each syllable carried weight. Stay away from Than Ni. Li Luo could not hear him clearly. What is this absolute fool doing over there? He mumbled to himself, confused. If you have something to say it out loud. Squeaking like a mouse in a pantry helps nobody. How am I supposed to know your intent? Over at Namfang Academy, students were buzzing with gossip. Nobody expected Li Luo to actually make a comeback. An artificial resonance? Unheard of. But it is only 5th-grade water. The academy trials are only 1 month away. With such little time left, can he really shift into high gear and catch up to the top-tier elites? Li Luo ignored the noise. If I had not used my light water resonance during the last fight, it would have taken much longer. Moving a 5th-grade water light resonance up to grade 6 is no small feat. Time to talk to Kai Wei. Back at her office, she finally set down her pen after battling a mountain of paperwork. The crushing weight of her duties made her groan. My shoulders are absolutely killing me today. In the quiet room, she placed the speakers on her desk. A moment later, the music began to swell beautifully. It felt like a movie scene, with flowers blooming and wind blowing. Right then, Li Luo burst in, shouting happily for his sister Kai Wei. His eyes caught something. Suddenly, his heart raced and a deep heat rushed to his face. Kai Wei froze in shock. "Learn how to knock!" she screamed, her face burning with pure embarrassment. Li Luo just grinned, seemingly oblivious. "I will be more careful next time," he promised. She sighed. "What does the young house lord want?" He put on a charming face. "I just wanted to show you a little treasure." Kai Wei was already at the window, brandishing a powerful crossbow. "Don't forget, I am a resonant master," she warned him. Seeing the weapon aimed straight at his chest, Li Luo felt a cold sweat. "What are you doing with that?" Her eyes were icy. "What is this treasure you speak of?" Li Luo felt a bit dejected. He summoned a stream of water. "Just this." Watching the display, Kai Wei lowered her gaze. "I see. I will do whatever it takes to satisfy your request." "What?" he asked, stunned. She explained. "You are wondering why I am not refusing you or pushing back on your request, aren't you? You are the young master. This entire Luo Nam house belongs to you and Thang Nga. Now that you have a resonance, your value to this house far exceeds any amount of spirit liquids." Understanding her logic, Li Luo beamed. "You really do get me. Can I start with 20 bottles of grade 5 spirit liquid?" She agreed instantly. "I can do that, but our treasury is running low. We need a lot more than we have. I plan to sell assets and trading houses in Tianshu Prefecture to raise the cash." "I trust you completely," he said. "I will support whatever you decide." She smiled. "Thank you for that trust, young master. Also, can you take me to the refining facility? I need to see where our spirit liquids are actually made. As a water resonant, I need to learn the art of refining." She nodded. "Fine. I will take you there tomorrow." Back at Namfang Academy, Shan Yue made an announcement. "The first institute handed over 10 gold leaves to our second institute today. Because of this, our training budget has increased starting today. We have 10 extra gold leaves to use. Li Luo won these for us single-handedly yesterday. Let's all give him a big thanks." The whole class erupted in cheers. "Great job, Luo. Dinner is on me tonight." Seeing them happy made him smile. After class ended, teacher Shan Yue pulled Li Luo aside to have a private conversation. "Asking for leave again?" he asked. "Yes, sir," he replied. The teacher didn't push. "The exams are coming soon. You fell behind, so you must catch up now or forget about entering St. Astral Academy. If your trials go poorly, there is no hope for St. Astral." Li Luo obeyed his teacher. That afternoon, he eagerly headed off for another free meal with his sister Kai Wei. Tai Vai sat elegantly sipping tea, smiling as she said, "Finally here? I have dinner ready for you." The Sun Creek house brings in massive profits for the House of Luolin every single year. That is why Pei Hao is fighting so ruthlessly to seize control of it right now. Li Luo nodded his total agreement while focused on eating. Tai Vai continued outlining the scheme. Pei Hao has bribed a vice president, intending to use this branch to strike a massive blow against Sun Creek House this year. Hearing this, Li Luo stood up in a rage, cursing the man under his breath. "That bastard Pei Hao is a total animal. He is completely ruining my appetite." Of course, looking at his licked clean plate, it did not actually seem like his appetite was suffering that much. The convoy rolled into Southwind City, eventually coming to a stop in the northern district. Tai Vai gave a professional briefing. This Sun Creek branch sells the House of Luolin's spirit liquids throughout the entire Tianshu County. Two figures approached from a distance to greet them. "Sorry for the late welcome," Tai Vi whispered to Li Luo. "Those two over there are the managers of this local branch. On the left is Yan Lingqing, a top talent from the Astral Sage College's refining hall. She is also Qing's close friend and a grade 4 refiner. Qing personally invited her here to act as our backup. On the right is Zhuang Yi, the vice president siding with Pei Hao. He smiled and said, "Young lord, chief manager, having you here is truly a great honor for us." Tai Vai gave him a cold look and replied, "The vice president is being far too modest. Sun Creek House belongs to the young lord. Why should visiting his own property be an honor?" Zhuang Yi turned to leave. "My mistake. I will not stay and ruin the mood for you. Goodbye." Watching the old fox's attitude, Li Luo thought to himself that Zhuang Yi had clearly defected to Pei Hao's side. Ling Qing asked curiously, "Sister Tai Vai, what brings you here today?" Tai Vai linked arms with Ling Qing and said, "I just brought the young lord to see the place." Li Luo stared at their very impressive figures and sighed with true admiration. There is really no comparison without someone getting hurt. Lin Qing seemed to overhear, giving him a look that could kill. "What exactly are you comparing, little brother?" Li Luo smoothly came up with a quick reply. "It is rare to see two such stunning beauties standing together. Both are so gorgeous in their own way, I just cannot look away." Ling Qing ignored the comment with a cold snort. Silver-tongued as always, "Sister Tai Vi, let's go. I will show you around the facility." She led the way while explaining the current situation to the both of them. Right now, this branch of Sun Creek House employs 2 grade 4 refiners, 9 grade 3 refiners, 16 grade 2 refiners, and 33 grade 1 refiners in the workshop. Li Luo took it all in. Tai Vai definitely knew this already, so she was clearly making sure he heard the details. This friend of Qing looked cold on the outside, but she was actually quite kind. The three of them moved to another room. Ling Qing said, "This is my workspace. Sister Tai Vi, you did not just come here to look around, did you?" Tai Vi explained that the young lord actually wanted to learn about refining. Li Luo couldn't help but admire the room, saying it looked amazing. Ling Qing hesitated and said, "Wait, I thought the young lord wasn't—" Tai Vai knew what she was going to say and quickly reminded Li Luo, "Time for your show. Go ahead and surprise this senior student here." Li Luo wasted no time and immediately began to show off his skill. Ling Qing gasped in shock. "Is that water resonance? You actually have water resonance." "It is a grade 5 water resonance," Li Luo said. "That is why I want to learn some refining techniques and become a refiner." Ling Qing asked doubtfully, "Shouldn't you be focusing entirely on preparing for the college entrance exams right now? If you get into Astral Sage College, they have plenty of great teachers there." Li Luo acted nonchalant and said, "I know my priorities. I just want to learn a little bit about it for now." Tai Vai gently added, "It is rare for the young lord to show such initiative. Since you are a senior student, why not teach him?" Ling Qing sighed, feeling completely helpless. "Fine then." She turned back to Li Luo. "I assume you already understand at least some of the basic concepts of being a refiner by now, right?" Li Luo gave a firm nod. Ling Qing pointed to a thick stack of books on the table and told him to read them all. Seeing Li Luo sit down and start reading, she thought he was actually quite obedient. She quickly went back to her own desk, saying, "Sister Tai Vai, please make yourself comfortable and have a seat." "I still have some work to finish," Tai Vai replied. "Do not worry about me. Go ahead. I am just going to rest my eyes for a bit." Meanwhile, in another room, Zhuang Yi sat with his legs crossed and asked his subordinate, "What exactly are the young lord and the manager doing right now?" The man reported that they were just touring the facility and had gone into Vice President Yan's private office. He gave a cunning smile and ordered, "Watch them closely. Record every single person they come into contact with. This is a critical time for me to become the president here. Once that happens, we will control the entire Sun Creek house. We must get rid of Ling Qing. You are dismissed." The subordinate bowed and left the room. Alone now, Zhuang Yi began to laugh like a complete madman. A cruel glint flashed in his eyes as he muttered to himself, "Qing, did you really think hiring some college girl would be enough to stop me?" "Xiyang House is quite the place," Li Luo muttered, rubbing his eyes as the sunset turned the sky gold. Finally, he had finished reading every single page. Ling Kan walked over with a nod. "Impressive patience. Follow me." She led him straight into the refining room to begin the lesson. She explained the basics of crafting spirit fluids and lights, showing him how to mix every ingredient into a perfect, balanced formula. Every material has unique traits. Once you filter out the impurities, the final result is the pure spirit water we are looking for. As she spoke, she pulled out a delicate blossom. "This right here is a 3-leaf water flower," she explained. "During the process, you must use your own water or light resonance to bond with the materials and enhance their properties. Creating these spirit fluids requires fusing several different materials together. But to make them bond, you need a very specific kind of power. We call this power source water or source light. It is essentially your resonance energy condensed into a highly concentrated, potent form. It eventually forms the source water, dripping slowly into the vial until you have a full bottle of finished spirit fluid." Ling Kan held up the vial. "This is a first-grade spirit fluid. Making it is not too complicated once you know the steps. The source water increases the tempering power of the fluid. It essentially determines the skill level and rank of the person crafting it. Take Qingga, for example. If she crafted this spirit fluid, her tempering power would be significantly higher than anyone else's. Even if two people have the same resonance, the source energy they create will carry different traits and their own personal will. Mixing source energies from two different people causes a clash, leading to total failure. Li Luo stared at the bottle, thinking, "Look, I was born with no resonance. Even though I developed water and light resonances later, my blank state still holds on to that pure, original source energy. The source light I produce seems to be universal and all-inclusive. Maybe it could even be used by other spirit crafters." Noticing his focus, she said, "If you really want to become a master spirit crafter, come back anytime. I can teach you the basics whenever you are free. Once you successfully craft a first-grade spirit fluid on your own, you will be a first-grade master." Li Luo bowed sincerely. "Thank you so much, Sister Ling Khan. I appreciate it." Over the next few weeks, Li Luo stayed incredibly disciplined. He trained at Nanfeng Academy, practiced in his golden room at home, and mastered resonance arts. He spent his days learning from Ling Khan to become a qualified crafter. Time flew by, and he could feel himself getting stronger every day. This continued until the very day before the big Nanfeng Academy preliminary entrance exams. Li Luo finally reached the 6th seal as he'd hoped. Today, the academy was buzzing with more energy than usual because the preliminary exams were finally about to begin. The prelims were designed to narrow down the student body until only the top 20 students remained. These 20 would represent Nanfeng Academy in the final examinations. Zhao Kuo looked at the massive crowd and sighed. "Man, it is really packed today." Li Luo nodded. "This is everyone's last chance to show off their skills. Let us see how much luck you have actually got." Luck comes from resonance, though, and yours does not look like it will last long. Zhao Kuo just laughed and started teasing Li Luo right back. "Screw you! I hope you have to fight Qingger in the very first round." Li Luo did not miss a beat, firing back another curse, and the two kept going. Chatting away, they reached the Weisha Arena just as the principal of Nanfeng Academy stepped up to give his opening speech. "Students, the preliminary examinations officially begin today," the principal announced. "I expect every one of you to give your absolute best, as these rankings will significantly impact your future paths and opportunities. The prelims will last 3 days. Today's match brackets are posted on the cliffs surrounding the main square for everyone to see. Without further ado, let the exams begin." As soon as he finished, the crowd erupted as the match brackets began to appear. "Look, there it is." Zhao Kuo scanned the board and grinned. "Yes, it looks like both our opponents today are totally beatable. We should definitely pass this round." Li Luo nodded along with him. "Same here. My bracket looks pretty good. They are both from the first house, but they do not seem as tough as Bei Hun." After a few more words, Zhao Kuo waved goodbye. "It is almost my turn, so I am heading out. Good luck." Li Luo waved him off. Surprisingly, Li Luo's own match ended much faster than he had ever expected. The first match was over in minutes. As for his second round opponent, they did not even want to fight and just forfeited immediately. Feeling good about the quick win, he decided to head over to Ling Khan's early for more training. Suddenly, he stopped dead in his tracks. His eyes widened as a girl appeared right in his line of sight. It was Qing. She looked absolutely stunning, almost like flowers were blooming in her wake. She was truly a sight to behold. Li Luo walked up to greet her. "How were your matches today? I am guessing they were pretty easy for you, right?" Qingger smiled politely. "You have gotten even stronger. I have to ask, how far do you actually plan on going in this year's preliminary exams?" Li Luo looked down slightly as he answered, "I just want to make the top 20 and qualify for the final grand examinations." Qingger looked him in the eye. "With your skills, you belong in the top 10. Honestly, Li Luo, I do not think you need to hide anymore. It was finally time to show enough to silence those who doubted him." Li Luo thought to himself, knowing Thon Yi meant well, but he still wasn't ready to reveal his full strength. Despite those thoughts, he simply replied, "I know, I will do my best." With that, he skipped the small talk and quickly said goodbye. "I have things to do, gotta go." Thon Yi watched him leave, feeling a bit lost and distracted. Just then, an announcement echoed from afar. First Institute's Zhang Yunfeng wins the match. Feng Yun looked grim, teeth grinding in pure fury. "Li Luo, I clearly warned you. Are you trying to provoke me on purpose?" Inside the Sun Creek villa, Li Luo held a test tube, thinking how his interest in resonance tempering grew with every single lesson. Suddenly, a figure appeared at the door with a sly, devious smirk. Zhuang Yi spoke up. "The young lord has been busy here lately. Heard you finally awakened a grade 5 water resonance." Li Luo nodded back, saying he was learning from Sister Ling Qing. Zhuang Yi stroked his beard, noting Vice President Yan was a top student from Astral Crest Academy. "She is quite talented but lacks experience. If you really want to learn, I could offer some expert advice myself." Li Luo cut him off. "I think Sister Ling Qing is great. If I need anything later, I will find you." The old man feigned disappointment. What a pity. Then, something suddenly clicked in Li Luo's mind. Oh, by the way, Vice President Yan's workshop is running quite low on essential crafting materials. Since you handle procurement, can you restock them immediately? Zhuang Yi hesitated, trying to play it off. Young lord, it is not on me. Buying materials is tricky these days. Shortages are normal, but since you mentioned it, I will keep a closer eye on things. Li Luo just stared at him silently, weighing the man's words, before turning to walk away. Zhuang Yi's loyal subordinate finally spoke up. Vice President, I didn't expect the young lord to suddenly awaken a grade 5 resonance. He must have used the rare treasures left by the masters. He hissed through gritted teeth, what a waste on him, but in the end it is just grade 5, hardly impressive at all. It won't be easy for him to rise. Send word of this to young Master Pei Hao immediately. Also, push the takeover of the first grade lab. Ling Qing is becoming a real eyesore lately. The subordinate bowed and obeyed respectfully. Shouts echoed from the first grade workshop. A 46% tempering rate? This will ruin the Sun Creek Villa reputation. Li Luo arrived and sighed nervously. Ling Qing was in full instructor mode, pointing out 4 mistakes in his last batch. The white leaf fruit heat was low, the moon essence was too sticky, and the smokeless water was way too thin. Finally, your water resonance didn't hit saturation. Frustrated, she pushed up her glasses and ordered him to start over. The student dejectedly agreed and shuffled out of the room. Ling Qing watched him leave, feeling uneasy. Even though Thanga gave her control of the second grade lab, Zhuang Yi's influence in this branch was still a bit stronger. Lately, Zhuang Yi hasn't been sitting idle. He has started making moves against the first grade workshop. His excuse? He claims to have trained a student who can craft spirit liquids at a 56% purity level. Zhuang Yi is using this to spread rumors about my teaching, causing some resonance masters in the villa to waver. If this keeps up, Zhuang Yi will definitely seize the first grade workshop for himself. That would hurt spirit liquid production and cause losses for House Luolan. Yinghua saw Li Luo and greeted him. The young lord is here, he asked worriedly. Sister Yinghua, does Vice President Yan seem upset? She replied awkwardly. Everyone's been getting scolded all morning. Then, she quickly filled him in on everything. Li Luo finally understood. It was all about the first grade workshop, a very serious matter indeed. If Zhuang Yi succeeded, it would be a devastating blow to Ling Qing's reputation. Her authority at Sun Creek Villa would slowly vanish into thin air. I need cash badly right now. If things go south here, it will be a massive blow to my plans. But worrying won't fix anything. Let's just start today's practice. 2 hours passed in a flash, and Li Luo's crafting techniques grew more refined and skillful with every attempt. Suddenly, the door burst open, startling everyone inside the crafting room. Ling Qing turned in surprise. Whispers broke out as Zhuang Yi entered the room. What do they want? Ling Qing stepped forward to greet them. Vice President Zhuang Yi, have you forgotten the rules? He just smirked, shifting the blame. Vice President Yan, production of spirit liquids has dropped lately, which seriously hurts our performance here at Sun Creek Villa. She fired back coldly. You know exactly why production is down, don't you? If you hadn't throttled the material supply, we wouldn't be here. But he just dodged the blame and pointed it back at her. Materials are scarce. I can't just conjure them from nothing. Look, Vice President Yan, we are resonance masters. Results are the only thing that matters. She trained a first-grade resonance master who crafted premium spiritual water, but it was nothing special. The highest refining strength he reached was only 50%. The other masters were annoyed by his bragging. He boasted about his student, Shi Yun, making stable stonewall spiritual water at 56%. I suggest you hand over the first-grade refining room. Does that sound fair to everyone? Shi Yun just stood there laughing mockingly. Vice President, you should just let Shi Yun take charge of this room instead. That way you can focus on the second-grade production. That is where our real profits come from anyway. Lin Khan's face went pale. Suddenly, a flash of light cut through the room as a cheerful voice yelled, "It's done! I finally did it!" Li Luo held up a glass vial and said, "The refining strength is 60%. Everyone froze in disbelief. How could the young master produce 60% spiritual water? Lin Khan rushed forward. "Get out of my way. Let me see that bottle right now." Zhuang Yi's group grew tense as the measuring scale lit up way past the halfway mark. Lin Khan confirmed it with a gasp. It was pure, exactly 60% refining strength. She turned to the vice president with a smirk. "Looks like I won't be giving up this room today. Didn't see that coming, did you?" He glared, desperate for a flaw. "Are you cheating, vice president?" Lin Khan just shrugged and asked, "So what? Want him to do it again for you?" Zhuang Yi knew he lost and walked away in shame. "No, we're leaving now." The tension in the air finally broke. Lin Khan couldn't stop praising the young master's talent. "I can't believe you made this on your first try. You really do have a natural gift for this work." Li Luo scratched his head, looking shy. "Maybe I just got lucky." She was glowing with pride. This was all thanks to you, but don't expect a thank you from me. You're just making money for yourself anyway. Still, I'm in a great mood. Let me buy you dinner tonight. Li Luo cheered. Now that's an offer I can't refuse. The moonlight shone down as if celebrating their win. Li Luo and Lin Kan clinked glasses. She seemed incredibly hyped up. You did great today. You really helped me vent some frustration. Li Luo gave a forced laugh. Like you said, I'm just making money for myself. She pouted, clearly drunk. That Zhuangyi guy has been bothering me forever. I've wanted to shut him up for a while. Anyway, you and Qing'e still have a long road ahead, obviously, but I'll keep pushing. She pointed a finger at him. So, what do you really think of her? Li Luo stayed calm. She is amazing. I do not think I need to say anything else. If I said I wasn't interested, you'd just call me a liar. Lin Kan raised an eyebrow. Let's be real. You're still in this small city. Wait until you get into the Sage College. Then you'll see how scary your competition is. He felt a surge of pride. But I'm her fiancé. If they try anything, she'll be the one to protect me. She burst out laughing. You really are a little brat. They kept drinking until the early hours. Li Luo tried to wake her up. Sister, come on. You talked such a big game just to pass out after 3 drinks. The waiter saw them out with a polite nod. Take care, folks. Lin Kan didn't even move. Li Luo carried her without much effort. He got her into the car and told the driver her address. He walked off, knowing he had to work harder. Inside the car, Lin Kan's eyes snapped open. Not a bad kid. A total gentleman. I'll tell Qing'e her little fiancé might be weak, but he's got this big sister's official seal of approval. The next morning at the mansion, Li Luo woke up feeling like a train hit him. My head hurts. Kai Wei just shook her head. Drinking with her? She really treated you like a grown-up when you're just a kid. Li Luo sighed. You're only a few years older than me. Anyway, let's get down to business. A sister is a sister. I sold off some useless assets and shops in Tianshu. Our mansion's bank account is finally starting to look a lot better. Li Luo smiled. You're the best, Kai Wei. Unlike Lin Kan, she drinks way too much for her limit. Li Luo told her, she got so wasted I had to hire people to take her home. She winked. Young master, you're so naive. She can drink 10 of you under the table without her face even turning red. Did you really not try to take advantage of the situation? Otherwise, she'll never say a good word about you to Qing'e. Li Luo was totally shocked. You women have such deep thoughts. I really am just a kid. Later at the academy. He noticed the energy was low today. Most students were probably still depressed about how they did in yesterday's competition. Zhao Kuo walked up to him. Luo, you're here. Watch out today. One of your matches is going to be tough. First Academy's Yu Lang. Remember him? Li Luo paused, searching his memories. Yu Lang was a big name at the academy, ranked in the top 10. Word was he had a 6th grade wind soul and was famous for being lightning fast on his feet. Zhao Kuo warned him that the guy reached the 7th seal, outclassing even Bei Hun. Li Luo rubbed his chin, thinking, 7th seal is tough, but I can handle it. He patted his friend's shoulder, saying, Don't worry, I've got this. Another student called out, Brother Luo, someone's outside for you. He stepped out and found a figure waiting. So, you were looking for me? It was Yu Lang, striking a pose. Li Luo, long time no see. You have really bounced back, proving you were once the king of Nanfeng Academy. Li Luo looked at him with pure disgust. Can you just speak like a normal person? You look like an idiot. Yu Lang gave a quick wink. We face off this afternoon. But first, Yun Feng came to see me. He offered me a serious pile of cash to go all out and make sure I leave you injured today. Li Luo didn't flinch. Are you snitching or just playing both sides? Yu Lang crossed his arms and smirked, saying he was a romantic who kept his secrets buried deep. That move you taught me pays the debt. This warning makes us even. I am just warning you about this afternoon. If you can't keep up, just jump off the stage. He waved and started walking away. Unless you are hiding some secret power, in that case I will play along, fake a bad injury, and quit. That way I still collect the payout from Yun Feng. The guy is paying a fortune. Plus there is one more option I doubt we will need. I am not that kid who tripped over his own pants anymore. Li Luo couldn't help but groan at him. You are incredibly annoying, so I am just going to tell the teacher. Yu Lang flinched and cursed. Li Luo, are you a literal dog? Making money isn't easy. How would a rich kid like you know how hard we struggle? Li Luo just waved him off. Fine, just get lost. The info wasn't great, but thanks anyway. Yu Lang huffed and snapped back. Watch your back, kid. Li Luo walked back in silence. Song Yunfeng's hatred was growing, mostly because of Qing'e, but it ran deeper. Part of it was the old feud between the Song family and Luo Yan house. I stay quiet. Why keep poking me? The morning matches flew by without any issues. By the afternoon, it was no surprise when Li Luo stepped onto the stage to face Yu Lang. Yu Lang pointed a finger and yelled, Li Luo, meeting me today is your worst nightmare. Li Luo broke into a cold sweat. This is so awkward. Can I just skip fighting this moron? The referee shouted for them to start. Yu Lang lunged first. Yu Lang's aggressive attack came fast, his fist slamming hard against Li Luo's shimmering protective energy shield. He didn't slow down, unleashing a relentless barrage of heavy punches. The fight intensified as Yu Lang became a blur of afterimages, the sound of tearing wind surrounding Li Luo's entire body from every single direction. Li Luo stayed in total defense, protecting his vitals. The crowd gasped as they realized he was using a high-level martial art technique, 9 layers of green waves. But Yu Lang was stronger than Bei Hun. Blocking those lightning strikes wouldn't be easy for him. On the stage, Yu Lang gathered massive power into his hand. The wind finger. Li Luo reacted instantly, gathering water energy. Yu Lang's finger glowed like a blade as they both charged in for a head-on collision. When the two strikes collided, the shockwave made the stage explode. The spectators below watched in absolute terror at the impact. They were stunned. Li Luo neutralized Yu Lang's ultimate attack using only a mid-level technique. It was incredibly impressive. Yu Lang's high-level wind finger was useless. The top genius of Nanfeng Academy lived up to the hype. Yu Lang just grinned on stage. This guy is a total freak, but I like it. This version of Li Luo was actually fun. He moved quickly, preparing to strike back. Suddenly, Yu Lang felt the world spinning around him. He looked back in shock. When did my legs get tied up? Li Luo watched calmly as Yu Lang stumbled from a low-level spell. Water snake. You got careless, Yu Lang. He took a stance and laughed. You didn't trip over your pants, but this snake got you. Yu Lang's face went pale. Screw you, Li Luo. You're cheating. Then, Li Luo sent him flying with one single, powerful punch. Yu Lang couldn't hold back the blood. A spray of crimson arched through the air as he spun twice. Li Luo's jaw dropped. That blood spray looked completely fake. He was totally overacting just to earn Yunfeng's money before he quit school. Li Luo stood tall amidst the roaring cheers of the excited crowd. Great job, Li Luo! Go, brother Luo! Meanwhile, Yunfeng and Fa Qing blended into the laughing crowd. He threw a sharp, disdainful look with a very cold expression on his face. Li Luo remained silent, lost in thought. Suddenly, someone rushed over to him. Brother Luo! It was his friend, Zhao Kuo. He put an arm around him, laughing. They walked toward a massive stone tablet covered in text. Seeing the rankings, Zhao was shocked, while Li Luo stayed completely indifferent. He looked at his friend with worry, but then he let out a soft, quiet laugh. My luck finally ran dry. The weak ones are gone. It is almost certain I will face him now. The names Li Luo and Yunfeng were etched on the stone board. Zhao Kuo tried to reassure me, saying even if I lost tomorrow, I would still be in the top 20. Right then, Yunfeng let out a confident smirk, a move that left Fa Qing completely baffled. His mood had been dark since the start, so why the sudden shift now? He looked ahead with a glimmer of excitement and replied, I am just happy to finally face my opponent tomorrow. It is definitely something worth celebrating. Her eyes widened in total shock. Meeting Li Luo makes sense since you are both undefeated. He kept that smug grin on his face, noting that the odds were actually quite high. Fa Qing's eyes grew heavy with deep thought. She drifted into her thoughts, realizing that in this entire academy, only Qinger had the power to truly suppress Yunfeng. Li Luo knew Yunfeng liked Qinger, yet he still insisted on staying so close to her anyway. A man fueled by pure jealousy rarely keeps his sanity, leaving tomorrow's outcome a total mystery. Outside, the clear blue sky hung beautifully over the slow-moving wooden carriage. Inside, Li Luo was deep in thought. This was real trouble. Yunfeng was not just an 8th Seal stage practitioner. His raw power far exceeded mine. Plus, he possesses a grade 7 resonance and a grade 9 nature. Going from 7 to 9 is incredibly high. Reaching grade 7 is a major feat, giving a practitioner resonance power that is pulsing with spiritual energy. Whether it is raw strength or resonance grade, I am outclassed. I might not stand a chance. I looked down, feeling discouraged, wondering if I should just forfeit now. The morning mist still clung to the massive estate. Li Luo looked exhausted, his eyes underlined with deep, dark shadows. His face was a map of pure stress. Seeing him like this, Kai Wei grew worried. What is wrong? Did you not sleep? He gave a gloomy reply, blaming the intense pressure of the upcoming academy exams. Then, remembering something, she decided to ask him one more thing. Oh right, Ling Kang was asking about you last night. She said you haven't been to Sun Creek Villa, Li Luo whispered. Once exams are over, I will focus everything there. But if Sister Ling Kang needs me, I will be there. Kai Wei casually held her lollipop, her eyes dancing with playful mockery. Why don't you say that to her face? Li Luo did not stick around, simply raising a hand to wave Kai Wei goodbye. Because I do not want to get hit, obviously. I am finished here. See you. Suddenly, a voice called out from behind him. Li Luo. He spun around at the sound of his name. It was Qing, heir, staring back at him with an expression that was completely unreadable. I heard you are facing Song Yunfeng today. He gave a slow nod in response. Qinger looked at him curiously and asked, So, what is your plan? Li Luo awkwardly scratched his cheek. Honestly, I will probably just forfeit. Her face suddenly brightened up with a look of relief. She leaned in, close to reassure him. That is a very smart move. There is no reason for you to fight him now. With your incredible talent for resonance arts, the gap between you two will close up in no time. He closed his eyes and nodded in agreement. I feel the same way. But then, Chinger's expression suddenly turned very somber. This whole situation might be my fault. I am truly sorry. Li Luo did not buy that, blinking tiredly as he tried to explain. Honestly, you are just a small trigger. The real issue is the ongoing feud between the Song family and my house Luo Lan, but I think there is something else even more important. Yunfeng is terrified. This caught her off guard. Terrified? Li Luo nodded, confirming her suspicion. Exactly. His brows furrowed deeply as his expression turned dead serious. He is terrified I will return to my former glory, leaving him in my shadow again. If that happens, all his years of hard work become a joke. Chinger seemed to grasp his meaning, so he wants to crush you now, while you are still vulnerable and have not reached your potential yet. He wants to knock you down to build up his own confidence. That was exactly what Li Luo was trying to get across to her. That is the gist of it. Chinger's face was now clouded with worry and deep thought. If that is true, he won't let you just forfeit. Li Luo did not seem too bothered by that. He started walking away with a cool shrug. Well, there is nothing I can do about that. He left Chinger standing there with a million questions. To her, he did not look like a man who had run out of options yet. Was there really another way to avoid this duel with Yunfeng? Li Luo's first match ended quite smoothly, but his second was deliberately scheduled as the grand finale of the entire exam. It was meant to be the big closing act. High up on the platform, a few spectators laughed with genuine interest. Nobody expected Li Luo to actually cross paths with Yunfeng today. Do you think they can actually fight? Someone whispered. Principal, what is even remotely interesting about a lopsided match like this one? Lei Zhong wore a look of pure dissatisfaction. In such an unbalanced match, he should just forfeit. There is no point in fighting, and there is no shame in it. Unlike him, Wei Sha was actually looking forward to it. Li Luo had already cracked the top 20, and he had done it incredibly fast. Given just a bit more time, catching up to Yunfeng would not be an issue. However, Wei Sha did not think it was that simple. In my opinion, the only area where Li Luo could ever hope to surpass Yunfeng is his raw talent for resonance arts. But Yunfeng has that grade 7 advantage, a lead that Li Luo just cannot close. So, catching up to him won't be easy. At last, Van Fong steps out with an arrogant swagger, commanding the stage. The crowd erupts in excitement at his arrival. Van Fong! Van Fong! He is so handsome. Li Luo just smirks, stepping out with his own regal presence. To his surprise, the crowd's reaction is even more thunderous than before. He is even more stunning than Van Fong. Go, Li Luo. Suddenly, he raises a hand. Van Fong's face darkens. Do you plan to surrender now? Li Luo does not back down. Are you trying to provoke me with petty insults? Murderous intent fills his eyes, his lips curling into a mocking, cold sneer. Not at all. I just feel bad that your parents have such a disgrace for a son. Li Luo lowers his head, hiding his face. The insult cuts deep. Then, he looks up, his entire body radiating a fierce, burning, fighting spirit. Come on, you little Tong family dog, I will give you one chance. But whether you can actually draw blood depends on your own skill. On the sidelines, Than Yi's face is tight with worry. I cannot believe he dared to insult Li Luo's high-ranking parents like that. Li Luo could ignore the crowd's mockery, but he would never tolerate any disrespect toward his mother and father. Zhao Kuo watches from below, fuming with rage. That bastard Van Fong is truly a heartless, shameless piece of work. The referee raises his hand. The announcement everyone has been waiting for finally rings out. Begin the match! Before the words even land, Van Fong explodes with power, the silhouette of a 7-star Crimson Eagle spirit soaring behind him. The spectators gape in absolute shock. Van Fong is not holding back at all, unleashing the full strength of his 8 seals. Against a gap like this, how can Li Luo win? He watches intently, channeling his energy until it flows like water, 9-fold emerald waves. Someone whispers, recognizing the specific technique Li Luo is using. Though that move grows stronger with every strike, it takes time to reach its peak. Against someone like Van Fong, it will be crushed instantly. It is useless. Van Fong looks down on him with pure contempt. He charges forward with the momentum of a flaming phoenix. He thinks this strike will end the duel and kill him. Their energies collide, creating a blinding explosion of white light. Li Luo is slammed back to the very edge of the stage. One hit almost knocked him out. People scream. He grips his scarred, aching hand. His stance remains firm, filled with resolve despite the harsh whispers of the crowd around him. The gap is too wide. He cannot win. Van Fong charges again, winding up a fist glowing with power. He strikes like a predatory eagle. He is determined to give Li Luo no room to even breathe. Li Luo presses 2 fingers to his brow as it begins to glow. His eyes are terrifyingly calm now. He casts a barrier toward his opponent. The audience watches in confusion as the technique unfolds. This is a high-level water mirror technique. Still, Thun Ni looks terrified. A simple water mirror can never stop a strike as violent and sharp as Van Fong's full power. Driven by rage, he throws the punch. A golden blast erupts, making it feel like the air itself is tearing. He is hurled backward through the thick smoke. The turn of events leaves Zhao Kuo completely stunned with disbelief. Van Fong was actually repelled? Is Li Luo's reflection ability really that strong? Van Fong's face is now twisted with pure hatred. He grits his teeth. That reflected force felt like 70% of my own power hitting me right back. No ordinary water mirror technique should be capable of doing something like that. He sees Li Luo's triumphant smile. This technique is cursed. Bei Hun and Fa Ting stare in shock, as if they have seen a ghost. The crowd below is equally stunned. How could this even be possible? He actually blocked a full power strike. Thun Yi finally breathes. She knew he must have had a secret plan all along. The massive arena becomes a backdrop for his heroic stance as the crowd erupts into wild, frantic cheers. Brother Luo is amazing, truly the best technician at the Nanfang Academy. But some are still skeptical. How did he do it? Tong Van Fong, are you finished yet? Li Luo smiles proudly. It seems the experiment worked. He combined light energy with a mid-level reflection technique called shadow lens. He calls this new fusion the water light magic mirror. If pushed to its absolute limit, this technique could even imprint and mimic the enemy's own strength back at them. Van Fong screams in fury. You think these cheap tricks can actually change your fate today? With a roar that made his veins pop, he lunged forward, intent on crushing Li Luo. But Li Luo didn't flinch, casually raising a single hand to block the massive strike. After blocking it, Li Luo flashed a mocking smirk. The force rebounded, sending Yunfeng stumbling backward in a daze. Yet Li Luo stood perfectly still, unmoved as a mountain. Yunfeng's jaw dropped in pure shock. He realized with horror that every strike felt like he was punching a mirror. He was literally fighting himself. Is this even a damn water mirror technique anymore? Wei Sha watched the scene, unable to hide his astonishment. Li Luo's water mirror was far from ordinary, and the crowd was already buzzing with intense whispers and speculation. A rebound, this powerful actually felt more like a high-level resonance art from the Blackwater stage. Could someone at the Sixth Seal stage like Li Luo really pull off a high-level resonance art? Shan Yue weighed in, suggesting it was definitely just the water mirror technique, but Li Luo must have tweaked the formula slightly. The crowd marveled. Modifying an art was way beyond his current rank. He really was the son of those two legendary masters. Yunfeng stood there in disbelief, muttering to himself. This isn't how things were supposed to go. Not at all. On the stage, Yunfeng grit his teeth, taunting his opponent. Li Luo, do you actually dare to attack? Li Luo bluntly replied, I don't. You come to me. That pushed Yunfeng over the edge. He looked like a rabid dog that just had its favorite bone snatched away. Suddenly, a realization hit him. Wait, that water mirror is a high-level art. It must be draining a massive amount of resonance power. If I can force him to use it over and over, Li Luo will run out of energy in no time. Without that mirror, he's just a toothless wolf. Nothing to be afraid of once his defense is gone. Seeing the plan unfold, Li Luo smirked, thinking to himself. So, he's trying to suppress my resonance energy? Trying to win an endurance match is smart, but even with my power suppressed, you think I'm scared of you? Both charged with their own schemes, causing a massive explosion upon impact. Yunfeng felt his heart sink as he realized his strategy wasn't working at all. He started to panic. Damn it. Even after suppressing his resonance power, I still can't get the upper hand on him. He screamed in frustration. Li Luo, let's see how many more times your Sixth Seal energy can pull off that trick. Li Luo didn't answer, just smiled and cast the mirror again. The same scene played out as they were both knocked back simultaneously. For the next several minutes, the audience watched in a daze as the two fighters repeated this exact sequence. Now, it was just a matter of how much longer Li Luo's resonance energy could hold out. The repetitive clash continued until Li Luo cast his mirror for the nth time. By now, he was clearly exhausted, his breathing heavy and ragged as the strain took its toll. Yunfeng sneered triumphantly. Li Luo, it looks like your little strategy didn't quite work out after all. I bet you've got zero resonance power left for that mirror. He gathered his energy, raising his hand and shouting with excitement. Now, let's see what you can actually do. Suddenly, a hand reached out and caught his arm mid-swing. Yunfeng was pinned down, unable to move an inch. He barked angrily. What are you doing? The referee stepped in to stop him, saying, Student, time is up. Li Luo rubbed his wrist and taunted him. Time's up, you idiot. Or were you hoping for some extra credit? Li Luo repeated himself without hesitation. Dumbass, the time is up. Did you really think you were going to get more time? The crowd below erupted in shocked chatter. Yunfeng wanted to drain Li Luo's energy, but he never saw this coming. Yu Lang, his head wrapped in bandages, added that Li Luo was stalling for time too. Yun Feng screamed like a madman. He's totally out of energy. I'm about to win. Just give me one more second. Just 1 second. Li Luo said nothing, just flashed a winner's smile. The referee spoke up. Rules are rules. The hourglass is empty. Since there's no winner, it goes to the fire duel round. Yun Feng howled even louder. You're full of it. The referee ignored his frantic yelling and announced the final result. As the fire duel was declared, the audience erupted in massive cheers. Brother Luo is the best. Yu Lang felt a surge of joy. Is this monster really about to make a comeback? Even Yun Feng got played. Qing Er smiled softly and whispered to herself. I knew it. Li Luo, you're going to rise again. That's when you'll truly shine. Suddenly, his figure seemed to tower over everyone else. Qing Er turned to leave, her thoughts lingering on him. You aren't there yet. I want to see you reach the peak before I personally take you down. Two figures approached from the distance. Li Luo patted the man on the shoulder. I gave you a chance, but you didn't take it. Yun Feng, you're honestly pathetic. You blew your shot. From now on, you won't even get another chance to try. Suddenly, his voice went cold. We need to settle the score for those lies you spread about my mother. Yun Feng replied, refusing to back down. Fine, I'll be waiting. Then they walked past each other, leaving nothing but resentment in their wake. Wei Sha stroked his long beard with satisfaction, offering nothing but high praise. Li Luo never intended to win this match. His whole plan was just to drag it out. Nearby, Lu Feng shared his own perspective. Li Luo's performance today was decent, but these preliminary exams have a strict time limit. These little tricks won't save him during the actual academy exams later. Shan Yue quickly jumped in to defend him, saying Li Luo might actually improve by then. Wei Sha waved it off like it didn't matter. He said, how Li Luo performs when the time comes is his own business. But for this major academy exam, Nanfeng Academy must protect its reputation as the top school in Tianshu Prefecture. His face turned terrifying as he gave the order. If anything goes wrong, there will be consequences. The teachers nearby bowed down in deep respect. Lu Feng broke into a cold sweat and replied, Rest easy, Director. Our first institute is powerful enough to uphold the Academy's honor. Hearing what he wanted, he left satisfied, but not before issuing one final warning. Good. Keep it that way. The scene shifts to another building. Shan Yue noted that Dongyuan Academy has the governor's full support. Their top student is the governor's own son, a guy named Si Kong. Isn't that right? His talent rivals Qing Er's. I'm afraid we will be facing some serious pressure during this year's academy exams. Lu Feng turned to leave and replied, If they want to take our academy's top spot, they will have to go through me. They have to see if the first institute even agrees. Shan Yue shook his head in disagreement. Keep acting tough. Let's see how you feel when you lose. After Li Luo and Song Yunfeng fought to a draw, their rankings were officially locked into the top 20. Usually, the top 20 are ranked against each other. But when Zhu Shan Yue asked if he wanted to fight for a higher spot, he refused immediately. Why waste the time? Wouldn't it be better to just train my water resonance to the 6th grade before the big exam starts? The battle for the top 20 ended the next day. In the end, 2 people from the second institute made it, Li Luo and Zhao Kuo. The academy scheduled a 1-week break. Students could choose to go home or stay at the academy to keep training. Naturally, Li Luo did not hesitate to head home. Once back at his place, he immediately started absorbing spirit liquid to increase his raw power. When he opened his eyes again, he sighed. This was the very last bottle from his current batch. Kai Wei helped him buy 5th grade spirit liquid, costing over 400,000 sky gold pieces. If Kai Wei hadn't sold off some of the mansion's properties in Tianshu, she couldn't afford to support him. The thought made him feel a bit guilty. At this rate, reaching the 6th grade would require one more batch. Kai Wei had been so busy lately she had not even shown up for breakfast at the old house. Whenever Li Luo tried to ask for more, she would shut him down immediately. She was probably terrified he would ask for another 50 bottles of expensive spirit liquid. Li Luo totally understood her stress. A top-tier manager like her was forced to sell off family assets just to keep things running after arriving in Tianshu. This was definitely the biggest failure of her professional career. Since Kai Wei had not quit yet, Li Luo figured she must have a heart as vast as the ocean. Thinking about it made him smile. He decided it was time to pay a quick visit to the Sunglow workshop. A moment later, Li Luo arrived at the workshop, hiding behind a bookshelf to peer at the front room. Kai Wei and Ling Qing spotted him right away. Kai Wei spoke up first, calling him young master. Li Luo quickly stepped forward and asked what they were talking about. Kai Wei replied that they were reviewing this year's earnings for the workshop. Li Luo frowned and asked if the profits were that bad. Ling Qing explained that 2 major players were currently fighting for the 1st grade spirit liquid market. One is our workshop's own Azure Jade spirit liquid. The other is Sunglow liquid from the Song family's workshop. Both products are similar in quality, and together they control nearly 80% of the 1st grade market. Lately, the quality of the Sunglow liquid produced by the Song family has been steadily rising. Their average purity is now matching our workshop's highest quality. This is proving to be a massive financial blow for our entire business operation. If this continues, it will be a real problem. We will lose the first-grade spirit liquid market to the Song family entirely. The room fell silent until Kai Wei spoke up to break the tension. She mentioned the workshop produces 150 bottles a month, with each bottle of first-grade liquid selling for 50 sky gold. That is about 30,000 gold in profit every single year. The total yearly revenue from the first-grade liquid reaches 90,000 sky gold after expenses. Li Luo listened closely as Kai Wei broke down the numbers. Li Luo praised her for knowing the details so well, then asked why the Song family's product quality had suddenly improved. Ling Qing explained that three main factors affect the quality of spirit liquid: formula, experience, and raw power. After analyzing everything, including the quality of the raw source light, I suspect the Song family has hired a high-level expert to give them secret guidance. Kai Wei suddenly cut her off. Plus, that guy Zhuang Yi has been using this excuse to target Ling Qing. He claims her failures are the reason she should be kicked out of the Sun Creek Hall. Ling Qing stared at Kai Vi in a strange fury. Suddenly, she reached out and grabbed Kai Vi by the hand. Kai Vi was totally lost until she felt Ling Qing pull her arms down from across her chest. It was like a light bulb went off in Kai Vi's head. Both of them glared at Li Luo like they wanted to eat him alive, making him break out in a cold sweat. He put on a serious face. "We are talking business. Stop with the side gestures. You are adults now. Next time, I will have to officially reprimand you both." "Is Zhuang Yi still causing trouble?" Mentioning that name made Ling Qing anger boil over. "That guy causes drama all day long," she snapped. "He is tearing us apart from the inside. Even the drop in our product quality this year is mostly his fault." Li Luo frowned. "We need a massive budget right now. Nothing can go wrong. He is a liability. Can we find a way to get rid of him?" Kai Vi sighed, feeling completely helpless. Sun Creek Hall is like a dragon with many heads right now. Ling Qing does not have enough authority to force him out without causing a massive revolt. Besides, he has Pei Hao backing him up. Li Luo felt a massive headache coming on. "This is a direct attack on my livelihood. Luo Lamb House was taken from me, so how am I supposed to fund my bottomless pit of a natural talent?" he asked. But Pei Hao had grown powerful and clever. He did not leave any openings or easy mistakes to exploit. For now, he had to hide behind Sister Qing Yi's shadow to grow. Just then, an attendant announced the arrival of the housemaster and the vice presidents. Vice President Zhuang has called an emergency meeting for all management at Sun Creek Hall. He says it is urgent. Speak of the devil. Everyone groaned. They knew this guy was just looking for a reason to start more trouble. They headed to the meeting hall. As they walked into the Sun Creek conference room, they saw a crowd already waiting for them. Kai Vi and Ling Qing froze in shock when they saw who was sitting there. This old man was Deng Ping, a senior elder from the Sun Creek headquarters. He was a high-ranking legend, one of the original members who helped the House Masters build this place from the ground up. But this old guy was incredibly old-fashioned and strictly followed the rules. He was a tough, stubborn nut to crack. He usually stayed at the Royal City branch, so showing up here suddenly meant trouble was coming. Deng Ping stepped forward. "Greetings, young housemaster." Li Luo replied politely. "Elder Deng, there is no need for such formalities." Ling Qing asked when he arrived in Nanfeng. Elder Deng Ping cut to the chase. Revenue in the Thian Shuo branch was tanking hard this year. Headquarters sent me to investigate and personally handle the situation regarding the presidency of this specific branch. Suddenly, his voice turned cold. "Vice President Nan, I have reviewed the reports on your performance. The first-grade refining room you manage is failing miserably. It is even starting to ruin the reputation of Sun Creek Hall in this entire region. Do you have anything to say for yourself?" Ling Qing calmly replied. "Why is this happening? You should know. You should probably ask Vice President Zhuang Yi for the real answer." Zhuang Yi scoffed. "If you lack talent, don't blame others for your failures." Hearing his sarcasm, Ling Qing gritted her teeth and snapped back. "If you hadn't secretly blocked our supply of raw materials, leaving my team unable to even finish basic training sessions, do you think we would be in this mess?" He spoke nonchalantly, his voice dripping with heavy sarcasm and mockery. "Business is already tough in this district, and those three families are constantly trying to squeeze us out," he argued. "The third-grade room makes the most money. Since our materials come through those families, shouldn't we prioritize the department that actually brings in the cold, hard cash?" Ling Qing couldn't take it anymore. She slammed her hand onto the table in a fit of rage. "You!" Before she could finish, a booming voice shattered the silence of the room. Deng Ping snapped. "I don't care about your excuses. I only care about the bottom line and revenue for Sun Creek Hall. Anyone who hurts our income or drags our reputation through the mud will answer to me. I will not show mercy." The room went silent. Everyone bowed their heads, terrified by his overwhelming presence. Li Luo finally spoke up. "Elder Deng, who do you suggest is fit to lead?" Deng Ping replied, "According to the long-standing traditions and rules of Sun Creek Hall, The person running the most profitable refining room is usually promoted to president. That old fox Zhuang Yi smirked without any shame. Deng Ping ignored the man's reaction and continued speaking. Those are the old rules. But if the young house master has a suggestion, please speak. I hope you understand that everything I do is for the good of the house. Li Luo heard this and silently evaluated the situation. It seems President Deng Bing isn't actually here to sabotage us. At least, he doesn't sound like he is working for Pei Hao. He asked again. So, if a workshop branch performs the best, can its leader actually become the president? Deng Bing replied simply, yes. Hearing the answer he wanted, Li Luo smiled. That works for me. Let's do it. Everyone was stunned that he would make such a risky choice. Zhuang Yi chuckled. The young lord certainly sees the bigger picture here. Exactly. If Sun Creek thrives, the young lord makes more money, right? Deng Bing's face darkened, asking again to give Li Luo a chance to change his mind. Is that really your final decision? Li Luo just nodded, turned around, and walked right out of the room. If that's the case, we'll take our leave. Outside the meeting room, Ling Qing couldn't hold back her frustration anymore and confronted him immediately. Li Luo, what are you doing? That rule is stacked against us. Why on earth did you agree to it? If you don't want me here anymore, just say the word and I will head back to the royal capital. Kai Wei added worriedly. The young lord usually has a plan, but today's move is impossible to understand. Li Luo just smiled. Look, sisters, I'm not an idiot. Don't you see this is the perfect chance to officially make Ling Qing the president of the workshop? A light bulb went off for Kai Wei. Wait, do you actually have a way to help Ling Qing turn this around? Ling Qing remained skeptical and frowned. What could he possibly do? He's a complete beginner at this. He hasn't even been studying resonance techniques for that long. Li Luo didn't rush, explaining his plan slowly and calmly. Right now, our Azure Jade water is being crushed by the competition's product. This is directly killing our sales and ruining our reputation. If things stay like this, the first-grade workshop will just keep sinking. There's no way we could ever stage a comeback. The most urgent thing we need to do is stabilize our brand and get our sales back on track immediately. Ling Qing thought he was daydreaming. I told you before, 3 factors affect resonance fluid quality. My methods are already at their limit. There's no way to change how we make the Azure Jade water with my current set of skills. And trying to boost our artisans' power or experience in such a short time is just not realistic at all. Wait, didn't the young lord refine a batch of Azure Jade water with 60% purity already? Ling Qing adjusted her glasses. How much can one person produce? Even if we worked him like a pack mule, it wouldn't be enough. Li Luo was speechless. Huh? That was one weird comparison to make about his hard work. Ling Qing continued. Source light depends entirely on an artisan's natural talent and the quality of their own resonance. Unless we have a secret refinement technique, but those are top secret assets kept by the major powers. We simply don't have access. Sun Creek doesn't have anything like that. Li Luo smiled back. Actually, we don't even need one of those. Then, he pulled out a small vial. Do you want to try this? Ling Qing didn't even glance at it. I already told you, other source light won't work. Before she could finish, Li Luo popped the cap. Suddenly, a soft, vibrant green light flooded the entire room. Ling Qing saw what it was and her eyes went wide. She stood there, completely frozen in total shock. Sunlight streamed through the window as she held the bottle of Azure Jade water. She was visibly shaking with pure excitement. There are no impurities or conflicting wills. This is a pure refinement secret, and it's at the 7th grade water resonance level. She couldn't believe her own eyes. She grabbed his shoulder and demanded to know the truth. How did you get your hands on such a high-quality refinement secret? Li Luo laughed nervously. Relax, sister, can we actually use this stuff? A second later, Ling Qing regained her confidence. Of course we can use it. It's better than I imagined. With this level of purity, we can easily hit 60% tempering strength every single time we brew a batch. This is more than enough to crush our competitors at the other workshop. Li Luo started crunching the numbers for his fortune. If I give you a fresh supply every 3 days, can the first-grade workshop become the top performer at Sun Creek? She switched into expert mode. If we have enough of this secret formula, doubling our production wouldn't be difficult at all. Li Luo slammed his hand on the table, deciding right then and there. Great, then that's the plan. Let's get to work and make it happen. Ling Qing glanced at him, assuming this secret must have been a hidden gift left behind by Li Luo's powerful parents. Kai Wei whispered softly from the side. It seems the young lord really is the lucky charm for our entire house. With the plan set, she was itching to get back into the lab and start the process. Fine. I'm heading back to work. I'll spend the next few days brewing the enhanced version. Now go. Leave me alone. Before she left, he remembered something vital and quickly pulled her back for a second. Wait, Kai Wei, don't leave yet. I need another batch of 5th-grade resonance materials immediately. She let out a long, heavy sigh, looking like an exhausted mother. Young Palace Master, if you keep this up, I really won't be able to afford you anymore. He pouts playfully. This is the last batch of 5th-grade spirit liquid. Seeing Li Luo is so sincere, she sighs and finally agrees. Fine, I guess I will have to sell off 2 more properties. Tai Vai falls into a deep and thoughtful silence. With all my talent, since when did I ever have to sell off assets just to survive? Once she agrees, Li Luo's eyes shine bright like shooting stars. Thanks for all the hard work, Sister Tai Vai. Time flies by and the scene moves to the school campus. Here, Li Luo is training as hard as a worker bee, spending every single day focusing on his difficult work. Over the next few days, Li Luo splits his time between intense cultivation and constantly practicing his resonance tempering arts. He can now consistently produce 1 bottle of first-grade green jade spirit liquid every single day. While Li Luo waits for his water light resonance to evolve, a sudden surprise catches him off guard. His power level rises early, reaching the 7th seal stage. Inside the ancient building of Sun Creek Villa, there is a room with a box full of neatly arranged green jade spirit liquid bottles. Lin Khan is excited while checking the inventory. It is all thanks to the luck of the young palace master. They used to only make 5 bottles a day. Now, that production number has jumped up to 10 bottles daily. Plus, the tempering power is stable at 60%. This is definitely a top-tier product among first-grade spirit liquids. Li Luo still worries that this revenue is quite far from the 210,000 gold made by third-grade workshops. Tai Vai confidently says she will handle it. Li Luo is curious and asks, Sister Tai Vai, how do you plan to do that? She calmly explains that the Golden Dragon Bank recently wants to buy high-quality first-grade spirit liquids. Their prices are higher than the market rate. Tai Vai winks and points out the key part. The Golden Dragon Bank has a massive reputation. Their selection will decide who produces the highest quality first-grade spirit liquid in the entire Tianshu prefecture. This reputation is the most valuable thing of all. He nods in agreement after hearing her plan. No objections from me. I will follow whatever you 2 sisters decide. Tai Vai adds that back in the day, the Golden Dragon Bank was always a busy hotspot. A few figures are standing outside the school grounds when a staff member quickly appears before them. She politely leads the way, saying President Lu is with a guest. Please wait inside for a moment, you 2. Just then, Ching-er walks out like a lead actress. She softly calls out to the young palace master. She blushes and asks why he is visiting the bank. Li Luo calmly replies that he is here to talk business with President Lu. Hearing this, she is confused. It is just first-grade liquid. Why would the young master need to come in person for that? He feels like crying inside but acts fine. She does not understand the struggle of a fallen young master. Amid the awkward silence, Tai Vai speaks up and cuts in with an impressed tone of voice. This little sister is so beautiful. You must have many suitors at the academy, right? I wonder if our young master is one of them. Li Luo nearly chokes on his water when he hears that. Without waiting, Ching-er turns around and enthusiastically offers to take them to see her second uncle. He is currently hosting people from the Song family, likely regarding the purchase of some first-grade spirit liquid. Seeing this, he tilts his head and wonders if going in now would interrupt their ongoing negotiations. She walks and speaks loudly as if she knows the script. They haven't reached a deal yet anyway. Even though I am taking you inside, if you want my uncle to change his mind, you will have to rely on the actual quality of your liquid. Li Luo feels a surge of confidence and replies excitedly, well, of course that goes without saying. I always act fairly and never rely on backdoors or connections. Seeing this, Ching-er gives a small smile. As they walk and chat, they suddenly see a figure leaning against the wall. He gasps in surprise. Yunfeng? Why is he here? Yunfeng spots them and frowns. Ching-er, why did you bring him here? She explains the situation calmly. Li Luo had an appointment with my uncle, so I am bringing him inside since he arrived. Li Luo thinks that the more beautiful a woman is, the better she can lie without even blinking. He did a great job. He then stares at the boy and issues a cold challenge. Li Luo, stop wasting your breath. Your Sun Creek Villa stands no chance against our Songzi Villa in this competition. He ignores the insult and walks straight ahead with a smirk. That is not necessarily true. Did you ever think I would end up in a draw with you before? Seeing Li Luo unmoved, he growls under his breath. Once they enter the living room, Ching-er announces loudly that the people from the house of Luo Lan have arrived. President Lu looks flustered upon hearing the news. If you are here, then please, come and take a seat. Seeing the person in front of him, the head of the Song family asks what is going on. Hearing this, President Lu starts sweating bullets from the pressure. He just chuckled and explained, Master Song, do not overthink this. At Golden Dragon Trading, we believe harmony brings wealth. Even if Grade 1 spirit liquid is considered lower tier, anything entering Golden Dragon must be premium quality. We will always prioritize the best ones first. After hearing that, Master Song stayed silent for a moment before speaking up with clear dissatisfaction. In this entire county, there is no Grade 1 spirit liquid that can hope to surpass the quality of our Pine Nut Hall. President Lu clearly thinks Kejong Hall is the better choice. Fine, Pine Nut Hall will simply withdraw from the deal. Sensing the tension in the air, he hurried to smooth things over before things got out of hand. Master Song, do not be angry. Your product is excellent. If yours truly proves to be the best, I will apologize to you personally. He then added, but we have to give the other houses a chance to show their work, right? Suddenly, Kai Wei asked a sharp question. President Liu, the refinement power of the Pine Nut Hall spirit liquid only reaches 56%, does it not? Master Song scoffed at her words, clicking his tongue. Steward Kai, you certainly have a lot of nerve talking like that. Kai Wei stayed quiet, placing a wooden box on the table and opening it with a flourish. Our previous green jade liquid hit 52%. President Liu, let me introduce you to a completely new product from our very own K-Duong Hall workshop. This is the enhanced green jade liquid, 60% refinement power. The room went silent. Master Song looked like he had seen a ghost. 60%? He did not believe it for a second, his voice full of doubt. Was this made by a grade 3 refiner? Or a grade 4? If so, you probably cannot guarantee a steady supply for the market, can you? Li Luo smiled with total confidence, guaranteeing the quality. Don't worry. My Luo Lan house still has a massive business foundation. If President Liu chooses our green jade liquid, I promise K-Duong Hall will provide a stable and long-term supply, and the refinement power will never drop below 60%. President Liu sighed in relief, murmuring, the young lord is truly a genius. Master Song, it looks like we will not be able to work together on this particular deal after all. Hearing those words, Master Song kept a straight face while boiling with rage inside. What are you saying, President Liu? There will be other chances later. Farewell. Once Song left, the president beamed. Young lord, let us sign the contract for the liquid immediately. After finishing the business meeting, the three of them finally walked out of the villa into the fresh air. Chinger was quick to offer her congratulations on the huge order. Li Luo stayed humble, knowing things would have been harder without her. She did not forget to give him one final warning. But you should focus your energy on the upcoming entrance exams. Failing to get into Sheng Xuan Xing Academy would be the ultimate loss. When you have some time, we should spar together and see how much you have actually improved. He waved her off immediately. No thanks, you are too strong. I do not want to be your punching bag. Chinger looked disappointed. Fine. Further away in a carriage, Yun Feng was simmering with anger. He turned to his father and asked restlessly, Father, can that K-Duong Hall really produce 60% refinement spirit liquid on a consistent and stable basis? My sister hired a grandmaster just to improve our formula, and even then we only managed to hit 56%. Master Song remained calm, like a man with a plan. We will see soon enough. He paused, then shared a secret. Your sister sent word. She is returning to Southwind City soon to take over Pine Nut Hall. She will definitely crush K-Duong Hall into the dirt. Master Song added one more crucial detail. In 2 days, I am visiting the governor. His son, Master Shi, is someone you should know. He is the top student at East Abyss Academy. You two should spend some time together and socialize more. Back in the meeting hall, the top talents were gathered around the table. Just as things got serious, a man walked in. Forgive me, Zhuangyi said, entering the room and offering a weak excuse for being late to the meeting. My grade 3 refinement room is busy ramping up production for our spirit liquid. Time is tight, so I hope the young lord understands. Li Luo glanced at him and spoke in a low, heavy voice. You truly have been working hard. The man sat down after reporting. Once everyone was finally present, he cut straight to the chase to address the main issue at hand. I called you here to discuss the vacant president position at K-Duong Hall. Immediately, the room erupted into whispers and drama. Wait, wasn't this already decided? We judge based on workshop performance, and Vice President Yan's team hasn't exactly been winning lately, has she? No more beating around the bush. Li Luo raised his hand and made a very blunt announcement to the room. The results are in. Zhuang Yi asked excitedly. Does this mean the young lord is finally going to announce my victory? He did not even wait for a reply before adding a sarcastic comment to twist the knife further. Or maybe Vice President Yan has finally decided to just give up and admit defeat? Hearing that, Ling Qing spoke up with frustration. Admit defeat? You are dreaming. At that moment, Tai Vai placed a folder on the table and began her report. Our K-Duong, that branch just signed a massive long-term deal with Golden Dragon for Emerald Spirit Water. Deng Bin held the papers, his voice trembling as he spoke. Emerald Spirit Water with 60% tempering power? He stared at the page, mouth agape, unable to process the numbers. Are you people out of your minds? How could K-Duong that possibly produce liquid with 60% tempering strength? Trung Yi stood there, stunned. He thought to himself, I have not even moved yet, and Li Luo is already sabotaging his own future. He slammed his fist onto the table and demanded an answer. The young lord is reckless, but surely the manager knows better? 60% tempering strength. Trang Yingyi bolted upright, his voice full of venom. Do they honestly expect the third-tier workshop to handle production for this entire contract? Are you trying to ruin Ki Duong that? Facing the contract on the table, Li Luo leaned back like a mastermind and replied calmly, Vice Chairman Trang Yi, please relax. This agreement will not require a single third-tier master refiner to complete the work. Dang Bin jumped in, his eyes narrowing in suspicion. Young lord, our Tier 1 workshop simply does not have that kind of capability. Without saying a word, he set a golden chest on the table and flipped the lid open. A brilliant light spilled out like something from a movie. He looked them in the eye and said, that was then. He held the testing tool, listening to the boy's proud explanation. This is the enhanced version of Emerald Spirit Water that Ke Duong that will be manufacturing from now on. Even more impressive, Li Luo pointed out that the tempering power remains steady at 60%. 40 bottles were already delivered to Golden Dragon, with 10 remaining here. Tai Vai stood by like a cold financial analyst. She spoke of a booming future, explaining that the production of this new enhanced formula would only continue to scale up. Based on total value, our Tier 1 workshop will soon outperform the entire third-tier division. The room erupted into shocked whispers. Trang Yi refused to believe it, shouting over the crowd, an enhanced version of Emerald Spirit Water? How could the junior refiners at Heiduang that produce a liquid with 60% tempering power? It is simply impossible. This cannot be real. Li Luo smirked, signaling for the show to begin. Manager Tai, pull back those curtains and show them the truth. She gently pulled the curtain aside, inviting everyone to see the proof for themselves. Through this glass, you have a direct view into the Tier 1 workshop. Please, go ahead and witness the process with your own eyes. Beyond the sunlit window, the workshop was buzzing with activity. A dozen junior refiners were working frantically at their stations. At the same time, assistants were collecting the freshly made batches to bring them straight into the meeting hall. The proof was undeniable. No matter how impossible it seemed, the reality was unfolding right before their eyes. Dang Bin finally smiled and delivered his final verdict. Fine. If this is the case, I hereby declare that Nam Nin Khan will be the new president of Ke Duong that. Lin Khan and Tai Vi cheered and shared a high five, while Li Luo stood back with a confident thumbs up. Trang Yi stared in disbelief, his voice shaking. This is impossible. It simply cannot be. Under a blanket of stars and a full moon, the sound of celebration filled the air. She drained her glass and slammed it onto the table, her face glowing with pure joy as she spoke. Li Luo, if you can just provide more support through your ancient secret methods, I can definitely make the spirit water produced by Ke Duong that the most powerful brand in all of Tien Thuc. Li Luo watched nervously as the beer nearly spilled over the rim. Fine, I will give you everything I can. The celebration echoed far beyond the castle walls. Let us toast to our success. Ke Duong, that is going to dominate the entire Tien Thuc region. A sprawling, beautiful garden surrounded the massive estate, where majestic towers reached toward the sky. Over the next few days, Li Luo spent less time at the workshop. With the holidays approaching, he had to focus all of his energy on the upcoming academy entrance exams. Meanwhile, in Namfong City, inside the governor's manor, two men sat alone at a massive table in a silent room. Si Kin spoke with a fake smile that did not reach his eyes. Old friend Song, I have been meaning to invite you to the governor's manor for some time. Master Song managed a forced smile. Your Excellency is always so busy with important affairs. You are nothing like us idle commoners. He shifted the conversation abruptly. The Song family has been making some bold moves lately. Si Kin's dark eyes were full of calculation and suspicion. I assume you have taken quite a large share of the Lac Lam estate? Song replied timidly. Only thanks to your expert guidance, Governor. Sunlight filled the room, but the air felt heavy and cold. The governor refused to drop the subject of Lac Lam Manor. Lac Lam Manor is such a tragedy. If those two had not vanished, that house might have eventually led all 5 of the great manors in Great Xia. Si Kin narrowed his eyes. It was a shame those two stood out so much. He ended with a chilling warning. Lac Lam Manor can barely protect itself now. The Song family must seize this opportunity while they still can. Master Song bowed politely and replied, Thank you for the reminder, Governor. My family will never forget this kindness you have shown us. Outside the castle, the sun was blazing. A tall figure stood alone by the lake. Below the surface, fish swarmed, gulping down the food being tossed into the water. This handsome man smiling as he feeds the fish is none other than Sai Kong, the governor's son. Another shadow loomed behind him. Si Kong didn't turn around, but he knew who it was. For this year's academy exams, Yun Feng, my father promised to help Dong Yuan Academy claim the title of the top school in the entire province. Yun Feng eagerly agreed. With your power, Brother Si Kong, the top spot is practically guaranteed for us. But his smile twisted into something dark. That girl from Nanfeng Academy, Lu Qinger, is no pushover. If you face her, she'll be a truly dangerous rival. He turned around, that same smile still plastered on his face, but his entire attitude shifted. Listen, I'm not afraid of her, but I despise unpredictable factors. When the exams start, I might need you to play your part and help me out. Hesitant and clearly shaken, he asked, Brother Si Kong, are you asking me to betray my own school? Sikong stood by the water and spoke politely. Betrayal is such an ugly word, don't you think? He flashed a grin while explaining it to Yunfeng. Your academy is just a small stepping stone on our path of cultivation. Besides, this is my father's wish. He has an old grudge against your headmaster that still needs settling. Sikong closed his eyes, a faint smile lingering. Don't worry, I won't make you do anything that draws too much attention. He stared in silence, but eventually, Yunfeng caved to the pressure and closed his eyes as well. Sunlight filtered through the trees, bathing them both in gold. Then, he suddenly changed the subject. By the way, I heard Li Luo awakened his soul and even fought you to a draw. Yunfeng frowned, clearly annoyed. That was just a cheap trick. If we meet during the exams, he won't stand a chance. Sikong closed his eyes again, soaking in the warm air and light. That's a shame. I was actually looking forward to seeing the young master during the grand trials. Hearing that makes it sound a lot less exciting. He replied with a sharp, disrespectful tone. Why would someone like you even bother getting your hands dirty with him? When the time comes, I'll take care of that loser myself. The afternoon sun intensified, turning their silhouettes into blinding white light. His expression remained calm, yet his words were sharp and full of hidden aggression. Fine by me, even though I've barely met the guy, I find him absolutely repulsive. Yunfeng gave Sikong a sideways glance. As a tiny beetle crawled right beneath his expensive shoe, he continued his long, petty explanation. Years ago, my father tried to arrange a marriage for me with that girl from House Luo Yan. Of course, that useless young master rejected the proposal instantly. Sikong's face grew dark, his eyes filled with a deep, simmering resentment. It really is a shame that a great house has such a pathetic, useless heir. He raised his foot, ready to crush the tiny insect. As a shadow of death loomed over the beetle, he wondered if those beautiful wings would survive the impact. Back at House Luo Lan, the massive, interconnected castles stretched across the horizon. A magic orb pulsed with vibrant streaks of gold, green, and white energy. Then, with a quick flick of his wrist, Li Luo sent the sphere flying into the distance. The orb flew straight and smashed against the glass window. Even from the outside, you could see a massive shockwave of brilliant, blinding light illuminating the entire room. He shielded his face with one hand, peeking out with one eye. Li Luo grinned with joy. It worked! Magical trails swirled like a starry sky. By infusing light energy into his water projectile technique, he had changed everything. Not only was it faster, but it could now release a blinding flash to completely disorient his enemies. This enhanced water technique would be known as the water light shell. He spent every waking hour studying and researching, preparing himself for the grueling exams ahead. Next, Li Luo poured all his effort into perfecting his combat arts. This water light shell was one of his most successful experiments so far. Li Luo slumped into his chair and rested his head on his arms. His supply of level 5 spirit water was nearly empty. My cultivation speed is incredible, but I'm burning through cash way too fast. A glowing gold magic circle appeared in his mind. To reach level 7, the cost was going to be insane. That would cost 6 million gold pieces, which is the entire annual income of House Luolan. However, once I reach the rank of general, I can finally begin training my second energy palace. I might not match a level 9 soul yet, but I've won enough fights. I should be able to handle a crowd by then. Li Luo picked up a red scroll tied with a gold ribbon. It was finally time to begin practicing this new energy guidance technique, the mysterious burst breathing method. A high-tier skill that requires a level 6 soul. A strange blue magical aura enveloped his body. For the next 2 days, Li Luo dedicated every ounce of his energy to mastering this new breathing technique. The scenery outside the castle remained as peaceful as ever. On the final day of the break, a figure appeared and called out to Li Luo. Young master, the head manager sent me to give you a reminder. That custom weapon you ordered from Master Zhao is finally finished. He kept his eyes shut and replied coldly, I know. Sun and wind swept across the castle as Li Luo spoke. Sister Taivi, I heard the gear was finally finished. Taivi motioned toward a box on the desk. I sent word for you as soon as I arrived. Come, take a look. Inside the box lay 2 short blades, 1 emerald and 1 gold, carved with incredibly fine detail. Gear is graded. Most are common items, but the elite ones are known as treasures. Compared to standard gear, these treasures are far more powerful and exceptionally rare. Their price tags are astronomical, dwarfing common gear. These blades are just high quality. They haven't actually reached the rank of a true treasure. Li Luo gripped the twin blades, testing them with a few quick slashes. He smiled. Not bad. These will definitely get the job done. Let's call the green one the water ripple blade and the gold one the sun ripple blade. Taivai asked with concern if the academy exam was coming up. Are you ready? He reassured her. Don't worry. I have a reason I cannot lose. The scene shifted to a new location. Break was over. Li Luo and Zhao Kuo were summoned by Sun Yak to meet at the principal's private residence. Li Luo realized Zhao Kuo had reached the seventh seal realm. He'd clearly been working hard. A large crowd had already gathered there.